Hey there, Matt Clark here with Mike McClary. Welcome to this live training. So we're super excited to be doing this with you. We're here in Austin, Texas. Mike was nice enough to fly down to do this with me. So it's Friday here, 2 p.m. Central. You should be live with us. If you have any issues whatsoever, we've got some instructions below the video. And we're also doing something cool where we're going to let you text in questions. So rather than using a chat tool, which just gets kind of crazy, we're using a pretty cool software that allows you to text in the number below. So if you're outside the US, it should work perfectly fine with non-US numbers. You just need to put the 1 for the US country code. If you're inside the US, you should just be able to use regular texting and text in. And we're going to be pulling some of those up later when we do some live Q&A. So thanks for joining us. We're hopefully going to have a lot of fun here. And this is a very interesting time to be doing this kind of training because of everything going on in the world. I mean, just this past week, I know you probably have some investments, 401k, that kind of thing. I've got some investments, Mike does. And so just watching what's happening in the stock market, travel restrictions, all that kind of stuff makes now a very interesting time to be talking about doing this business. One of the things we were looking back on is that, we've never really been in the position of promoting fear-based thinking and selling and all that kind of stuff. It's not really our thing. It's just kind of, I don't think really is the right thing to do. But we kind of saw the writing on the wall. I mean, if you listen to smart people like Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio, founder of the world's biggest hedge fund, these guys saw it coming, that there was going to be some sort of big financial event on the horizon. Nobody, I think, could have predicted, unless you're in the medical field or something, nobody could have predicted the coronavirus. I mean, that's something completely different. But why the financial side was easy to predict, and we talked about this, literally the webinar we did on December 5th, I pulled the date, it was December 5th, 2019, about 4 months ago. We said, hey, I was putting my money where my mouth is. I pulled all our money out of the stock market, back in September or so because of this very reason, because I knew something like this was likely going to happen. And I didn't know if it was going to be 2 months down the road or 2 years down the road, but because of all the debt big corporations had accumulated, because of all the debt consumers had accumulated, when you're on that kind of like rocky footing, something like this, which happened to be a giant, sort of pandemic that is sort of unprecedented in the world, but it's also similar to other stuff that's happened. This one catalyst is what's kind of sending the whole thing crumbling. But you could have seen this sort of stuff coming if you were paying attention. And the reason this is so important for us is because that's why we're such big proponents of building businesses. Because if you're sitting there dependent on a job for an income or your financial livelihood, and they've loaded up on a bunch of debt like these massive corporations have over the past 10 years or so, because it was very cheap, because of low interest rates, now your entire financial livelihood is on the line because of decisions that they made, but also that you made by deciding to work for a big corporation as opposed to going out there and building your own financial future with your own business. So that's why we're so excited here to be telling you how to go out there and build your own business, tapping into a market that's working extremely well right now, even with everything going on. But yeah, it's an amazing time to be here, to be talking about this, because for us, it's more relevant than ever.
I can think back to the week before December the 5th, so the end of November, when Matt and I were planning out that webinar to give our free live training like we'd like to do. And we're in the middle of the holiday season, and as Amazon sellers, sales are going great. You just had Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you're leading into the Christmas time. So everyone's in an awesome mood because their businesses are just exploding all over the place, doing fantastic things. But we realized, like he had talked about, that Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio were talking about something that could be on the horizon in 2020, and we had serious reservations about bringing that to the forefront in the webinar. We thought, is it going to scare people too much? But in the end, we realized it was something that was not only possible to happen, but more likely to happen. Just if you look at the way things have happened in the past, it was something that was going to happen on the horizon, and because of the business that we've been in and we've been able to show people how to do, we knew that this type of business model that you're going to learn today is absolutely the type of business that removes a lot of that risk and a lot of that fear, where if you're relying upon someone else who's giving you a paycheck and giving you a few weeks a year on vacation, this business model that you're gonna learn really is thriving right now. We'll even show you some real screenshots taken like 13 hours ago of people that are selling more than ever. Not that that's a great thing to and these aren't people capitalizing on anything. It's just that people are buying online right now because they feel more comfortable doing so.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough, telling people that, something, bad could be on the horizon when everything seems like it's going great. Unemployment's super low. Everything seemed perfectly fine a few months ago. But hopefully this is a kind of a wake-up call for you, that if you've ever thought about building a business, thought about, changing a career, any of that kind of stuff, that hopefully maybe this is a little bit of a wake-up call for you. Hopefully nothing happens with your job and everything's perfectly fine. Nobody wants that for anybody. But hopefully this is a little bit of an eye-opener for you. Makes you just a little bit more motivated to pay more attention when we start going into some of the training that we have today. So, if you feel like you're tied down to a job or don't have, outside of everything happening, even if you have just a general sort of sense that like you wish you had more freedom, you wish you had not just more money, but also the ability to work from anywhere, to live anywhere, to do what you want with your time, to be able to build and create something that has a positive impact on other people's lives, then you are in the perfect spot today. And what we're going to be talking about, kind of like Mike mentioned, is like any sort of smart investor, is you want to build a cash producing asset. A lot of people talk about cash flow for a good reason, because that's what allows you to fund your entire livelihood. The cool thing is when you go out there and build a business like we're going to show you in today's live training, is that you can go out there and build a business that not only makes good cash flow for you every single month, 24/7, whether you're sleeping or on vacation or doing whatever else that is you want to do, it also can be a valuable asset that you could sell one day if you want to, which for a lot of people makes a lot of sense. Is, if this is your first business, if this is your first serious amount of money that you've made, so it's nice to produce cash flow, but at some point you may feel like, okay, well, my business is doing well, but it would be really nice if I could go out there and sell this thing maybe for $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. We've had people that have done this before that started from scratch, and then all of a sudden you have that cash in the bank, and now you're essentially financially free forever. And what we find is a lot of people think at that point that they're going to go out there and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to live on a beach now. But a lot of them, they had so much fun building their business that now they've set some money aside, and now they're building a business for fun or for growth rather than out of necessity. So that's totally possible with this kind of business, is not only produce cash flow, but also to produce a business that is actually worth real money down the road.
And when I started this back in 2013, when you showed me, Matt, how to do this business model, very quickly I realized that, wow, this is a real business that could replace my corporate income. I had a job at a cable company, wasn't too bad at all, but I realized probably within a few months after my product went live and selling that this was it. This was my way out of not just the grind, but also working so hard and working for someone else, putting in lots of hours and just getting trading time for money. But like what Matt said, and this resonates with me a lot, is not only was I replacing that cash flow, very quickly after a year, I had built an asset that I would never, my wildest dreams, have been able to build up in such a short amount of time. People spend 10, 20 years building an asset like you can build with this business model, and I had done that in, as a matter of like 12 months. And you're going to learn exactly how we did that during this live today.
Yeah, and absolutely. And like Mike kind of mentioned earlier, is that, right now, a lot of people in the world are freaking out, especially if you run travel-related businesses, a lot of local-related businesses, because people aren't traveling as much and maybe are working from home, not moving around as much. But we've been talking a long time about selling stuff online, and that aspect of business is absolutely booming right now. We've got a screenshot pulled up over here from Jessica, and this is what Mike mentioned. She just posted 13 hours ago in our community. She was asking, is anybody else seeing more than usual sales right now? Our sales have skyrocketed, and she's selling on Amazon. Our competitors have all increased their prices because of a little bit of supply disruptions that we'll talk about later. But just wondering if there's a trend people are seeing. And then Lou down at the bottom says, my sales are 4x normal. It's crazy. And this is mainly because I think a lot of people that would normally go out there and buy stuff in local retail stores are trying to avoid moving around and that kind of thing, and are instead just like buying the stuff online. And these aren't people, like Mike said, that are doing crazy things like selling hand sanitizer for $100 and just kind of weird stuff like that. These are people selling regular consumer products that we all need and use in our lives. But it's pretty interesting that, when this kind of thing happens, that a lot of those sales end up shifting online. So what we're going to cover today, I think Mike's going to mention a few things here, but we want to give you an overview of what we're going to cover today, because we're not just going to sit here and blabber on all day long. We're going to give you some really good, solid training that you can take, use, and go out there and hopefully build a successful business. So Mike, let's talk about what we're going to cover today.
Yeah, so right now you kind of see Matt and my face here. You're going to see a few slides, but today we're going to show you exactly how this business works and why you want to start it today. I mean, really, the best time to start a business was yesterday, but the next best time is today. And given what's going on right now, it absolutely is an awesome time to start a business like this. And one thing we're doing differently is we're going to be showing you live how to find the hottest products selling on Amazon. And we're also going to show you how to find suppliers that can make those products for you. And then we're also going to show you how to figure out what is your true profit. So it may sound great to have a product that you sell for $30 and that you buy for $20 and think that you're going to make that $10 off it. we're going to show you the real amount that you'll make and how to know whether or not that product is a good opportunity, because it's all about generating profit for your business. And then we're going to show you how simple it is to actually create a brand. When I started, I had no idea that someone like me could go out there and create my own brand. And since then, I've probably created almost a dozen brands out there. So we're going to show you exactly how simple it is to do that. And then once you found your product, once you get your supplier and you've created your brand, we're going to show you how to launch that product and a few simple steps that anyone can do. And then you'll know exactly what sellers like myself and Matt and others out there are doing every time they launch a new product on Amazon.
Yeah, and we're also going to be giving you a list of 20 hot product opportunities that each sell over $1 million a year right now. We're actually going to go through 5 of them live during the training, and during the Q&A, we're going to give you the list to get the other 15 of the 20. So these are brand new products that we've just had our team pull. They do a ton of research. They find some great opportunities on Amazon. They meet all of our basic criteria, and they all sell over $1 million a year. You could literally take one of these products, go out there, create your own brand like we're going to show you in this training, and build your own business with it. So you're going to get that whole list during this live training. So before we get into the training, which we're about to, just kind of want to, for anybody who's not really familiar with who we are, I'm Matt Clark, co-founder, chairman of Amazing.com Inc. We've been doing this business since 2012 about, and before then I left my sort of graduated college and went to work for an investment bank, kind of funny enough considering what's happening in the market now. But I went to go work for an investment bank, but decided I was not really built to work for anybody else. So fumbled my way into e-commerce, learned a ton, and I was able to ramp that business up to about $2 million a year. But then I found there was a big problem, is that there was no profit. And so I really had to dig in and figure out the hard way of how to produce cash flow in an online business. And that's what I really dug my teeth into to figure out how to do, and was able to turn everything around, and ended up, having a lot of success on Amazon. And since then, built a business with the other co-founder of Amazing, and we've gone on to reach millions of people. We've helped tens of thousands of people build businesses. We've done cool stuff like been on the stage with Richard Branson and Robert Kiyosaki and a whole bunch of other really amazing people. And so we've had a big impact, and I'm really here to help people build successful businesses and avoid a lot of the heartache that I had, and help speed it up so you don't have to go through all the hassle that I did to learn a lot of this stuff. So that's quick overview of who I am and where I've come from.
Now, you heard Matt talk about how they taught thousands of people to build businesses. Well, I'm one of those people. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the first ones back in 2013 who had a corporate job. I already mentioned it to you. I was working for a cable company in St. Louis, Missouri. And again, wasn't a bad job, but it definitely wasn't something that I felt like was my calling in life, and not something that I was excited about. There was tons of traffic every day driving to the west part of St. Louis. I lived, of course, on the east side across the river, so travel and traffic was always a big issue for me. I had 2 young kids. I wanted to spend more time with them. Didn't want to spend just a few weeks a year on vacation and putting in all these hours to make someone else's business grow. And so I started looking for other options. And luckily, I found Matt and Jason, and the other co-founder of Amazing, and they taught me this business model that you're going to learn today. And it really did open my mind to the possibilities out there. I always thought that every single product that we buy is made by some huge corporate conglomerate out there selling and manufacturing all their products in some big, massive facility. Come to realize that's not the case at all. Most of the products that you see out there, most of the products you see online, probably about half of them, are made and sold by people just like you and me. And once I learned that, it opened up my mind to the possibilities. And then, more importantly, I learned the steps for how to actually find your products, find suppliers, really build your own brand, and then launch them so that you can actually beat some of the biggest brands out there on Amazon. And it worked out so well for me that within a year, I was able to quit my job at the cable company and work completely full-time on my own businesses. Then fast forward, maybe a year or two later, I started really enjoying what I was doing more and more, showing people what to do, mentoring, doing a little coaching and teaching here and there, working more closely with Matt and Jason. And then we actually became partners in this business a few years back. So now the title is actually Chief Product Officer, because I love coming up with new products, new services that help online sellers like us really grow and expand our businesses. And I do that all the time now. I train people how to do this. I also come up with new ideas for how to sell more. And that's what I love doing. And I'm doing that probably, every single day. I'm always thinking about it. And that's why I'm here today, to help show you how to build this business.
Yep, so that's a little bit about us, but yeah, we're pretty much ready to go ahead and jump into the training. So the first part about building this kind of business is to choose a platform to sell on. There's a lot of different platforms you can choose. There's Amazon, there's Shopify, there's eBay, there's Walmart.com now. You've probably heard people talk about a lot of these different ones. Now, some of the criteria you want to think about when you're trying to figure out which platform to sell on is, are there large and growing sales? Are there minimal technical skills required? And I don't necessarily just mean, can you program a website from scratch? I mean things like, do you have to be a really good copywriter to make it work? Do you have to be really good at Facebook ads to make it work? Do you have to be really good at conversion rate optimization to make it work? Also, low fees is another important part, another important criteria for making a decision, and also lots of opportunities and proof that regular people like us have been able to go out there and build a successful business on the platform. So with all that stuff considered, and we have our hands in pretty much all of these platforms, or have had at least at one point, and we believe the best platform to start on, especially if you're starting from scratch, is Amazon. Last year, Amazon sold about $280 billion worth of products and services, and about half of that revenue is from people just like us, like you, like me, like Mike, just regular people out there selling stuff on Amazon, not Amazon itself. So $280 billion, half of that is from people not Amazon. And that's actually about $50 billion more in sales last year than the year before. So it's growing like crazy. That's an extra $25 billion in sales for third-party merchants, which is us selling stuff on Amazon. So there's tons of growth, tons of opportunity. So we believe if you're just getting started, Amazon is the absolute best place to go. And it is just a starting point. Eventually, we want you selling on multiple places. It's how you build the best diversification, the most valuable brand, but Amazon still is the best place to get started, to build your brand, launch your brand, and then you can go from there.
So now that you know where to start your business, the next thing is, why do you want to start it right now? Why is it on Friday the 13th in 2020? With everything going on, why would you want to go ahead and start this business right now? Well, there's a lot of things in play right now as to why you would want to do that. And one thing is that on Amazon, and why we're starting there, as a matter of fact, they still have lots of opportunity for sellers like us. People may think that it's an oversaturated market, but if you look at how well and how much they're expanding, that is not the case at all. And to give you an example, let me show you my screen here, how there's some little things that Amazon's been around now for 20 plus years. There are still some things some glitches or loopholes, we call them, that open up possibilities and opportunities for us. So for example, let's imagine you wanted to sell a water resistant sofa slip cover. And yes, that's a good product to sell. It meets a lot of the criteria we're going to talk about later on. But if I do a search on Amazon for water-resistant sofa slipcover, you can see here that there are over 1,000 different products that show up for that one search term. You may think, wow, that's just not enough. That's too many that I really can't compete with. Well, if you know how to really dial in on the right keywords, it doesn't have to be the most popular keyword. As a matter of fact, we don't recommend you start off with the most popular ones. We want you to kind of go deep and think about the keywords that not a lot of people are searching for, but enough are for you to get started. If you were to search for, just add one word in there where it's going to be, let's see, reversible water-resistant sofa slipcover, there are 3 results of people that show up using that keyword. So when you start out, you go in there, target that keyword. We'll show you how to do that. And it would be extremely easy to get your product to show up right here among those 3 and probably to the top of those 3, so that you could start getting sales almost immediately after launching a product like this. So this leads into that, even though there may be lots of products out there and people think it's saturated, if you know how to do it and how to find these opportunities like the one right here, there's absolutely an unlimited amount of products you can go out there because you're going for the right keywords and the right products as well. Now, another thing is, we kind of look at some of these down here, these listings. A product on Amazon that we always talk about when you go look for a product, to us, we talk about it as a listing. And to us, a listing has a lot of major components to it that you need to know about: the title, the images, the bullet points. Most people selling on Amazon right now, they still don't know how to go out there and do all the necessary steps they need to make their listing and their product really stand out and get the sales. And because of that, people who do know, people like Matt, myself, and you on this call right now, you'll know how to do that and make your listing jump out and get more sales, which is another benefit, another way you can get in there and get sales going almost immediately. Now, also, Amazon has probably over the past 18 months, launched hundreds of marketing tools for sellers like us. It used to be, in the old days, and I laughed, old days, 5 years ago, you had to be a big vendor on Amazon to get access to these special marketing tools. I know because one of my brands is actually sold in the vendor program for Amazon, and I got access to these really cool tools. Well, a couple of years ago, Amazon realized that third-party sellers, which is what you will become when you sell on Amazon like us, we're actually outselling Amazon on Amazon. And to help us do that and to recognize what a big component we are, they started bringing in all these different marketing tools for us and giving us access to them. Not only the same ones that vendors were using, but they created new ones that sellers like us get access to. And most people who've been selling for years on Amazon, they don't pay attention to that. They're just out there getting their 1 or 2 sales a day. They're not constantly keeping tabs on the marketplace. With people who are on the ground, we'll say, on Amazon like us, we're always researching the new marketing tools that are out there and teaching anyone who's under us how to use those tools the right way, the wrong way. And so if you do know that, you definitely have a competitive advantage over all the other sellers who know nothing about these different tools out there. And now another thing that's also a really good reason for right now is the right time, we're experiencing an unprecedented event, not just the coronavirus event, but the fact that there's a huge supply chain disruption that is now ending, which is great. It's been a little scary because there's a lot of uncertainty about when products that are primarily manufactured in China would start to be sold again. Well, my suppliers and other suppliers are all coming online right now. They're getting ready to start manufacturing. It's kind of done a reset because this consistent sales funnel and channel for all the products as they get manufactured before the big holiday season, right afterwards, before the Chinese New Year, during the spring and summer, it's been kind of thrown upended. And now everyone's starting from the same place. They're going out there and placing their orders right now, whether you've been selling for 10 years or 10 months or 10 days. All these Chinese manufacturers out there are looking for new sellers because they want to make up the lost month or two they've been grounded, and they want to get as many sales as going. So they're actively looking for sellers just like us to go out there and really start producing sales so they can make up for the lost ground that they experience, which will benefit us as well. And then the last reason why I think right now is, not the last, but another reason we'll talk about, because we can't talk about all of them, why Amazon is really the right place to start right now is because there used to be a time, again, a while ago, maybe 5 years ago, where black hat sellers had an advantage. They were out there willing to do anything that it takes in order to get a sale because they didn't really care about long term. They only want to get a short term gain. They didn't care if it took them only 6 months and they made a couple $100,000. They were happy with that. Then they move on to another platform, another account. Amazon realizes that in order to keep customer confidence, they can't have counterfeiters. They can't have people doing these shady sales tactics out there. They can't have bad quality products. They can't have anyone's price gouging like they're doing right now for face masks and hand sanitizers. So Amazon is taking a much stronger stance against anyone who's not playing by their rules. And what they've done is they cleaned up the system out there. So that now people that we personally know who've built really strong brands and all these different products and huge categories that used to be unavailable to small sellers, they've gone out there and really done a great job at it. They're reaping the rewards because they didn't focus on these small tactics. They focused on building a brand. They focused on building quality products, and they focused on all the marketing tools that Amazon has made available to them. So right now, we have an opportunity to go past all those people that did the shady tactics and build a real business today.
Yeah, so a lot of times we get the question, is Amazon too saturated now? Amazon has been a public company since 1997, which is about 23 years. And so people have been selling on Amazon for a long time. But for all the reasons why Mike just mentioned, is that there's still so many opportunities on this platform. And like we said before, it's really just your starting point. It's the best place to get started right now, but it is just a starting point. You just want a place where you can put your product, they handle all the fulfillment, all the inventory, a lot of the customer service, which we'll talk about how all that whole system works in a few minutes. But when you have that system working, they're a great source of sales because there's hundreds of millions of customers available, ready, and willing to buy your stuff on Amazon. So sure, there's a lot more sellers, but there's also way more opportunities. The pie has gotten way bigger on Amazon. And yeah, there's Chinese sellers out there who, are maybe friends with the manufacturer and they're selling stuff on Amazon, but most of them still do not do a great job with any of their marketing. They only sell a limited number of the products. And so that's why we have so many students that are still doing so well in this business and why our own e-commerce businesses are also doing so well because of all the opportunities that are still out there. And just to show you an example, here's a product right here that we recently, with our partners, we recently actually launched on Amazon. And you can kind of see the sales graph at the bottom there. So back in December, we launched this product and pretty much immediately got it up to about 50 sales a day. and then ended up, as you see in the red part there, sold out of inventory because it sold out so fast. Got it back in stock, and it was consistently, once again, selling 40, 50 plus units per day in sales. This is a brand new product, no list, no none of that sort of stuff. And so in this few month period, it sold about $47,000. And right now, it's just constantly selling about 40, 50 a day. The biggest issue is keeping it in stock, and not because of anything going on in the world, but just because it's selling so fast. And so this was a brand new product, brand new market, and a product exactly like some of the ones that we're going to show you here in today's webinar, or live training. And so this is what's possible with this business right now. But it's not just us doing this stuff. So Mike, maybe tell them about this person right here.
Yeah, so here's one of our students who's learned how to do this. Her name's Yanning. She just started selling in June of past year in 2019, and 6 months in, they've already sold over $100,000 in products. So for anyone thinking that, well, you got to be a Mike or a Matt or one of us to build a business, that's absolutely not the case. And anyone thinking that you have to be selling for years and years to really have any chance of building a brand new business here, absolutely not the case. We have people like Yanning all the time posting in our community, sharing their results, and all of us cheering them on because we love and to see every time someone has a success, because we know we've just helped change their lives, and that gives us more reason for what we like to do and share everything that we are going to share today.
Yeah, so before we go show you how to actually find your own products to sell on Amazon, I want to cover a couple of things. First off is how to get set up to sell from any country, because if you can't do this part, then it's going to be hard selling on Amazon. So a few quick things. If you're from the US, you're going to want to sell in the US, which is sellercentral.amazon.com. You don't need a business or an LLC or a corporation. You can set up to sell under your personal information. Now, if you live in the UK, then we recommend you sell in the UK or the US, which you can just access from Seller Central UK. And you don't have to set up a company over there, but we've started recommending that if you're from the UK, are going to sell in the UK, that you might want to go ahead and set up a company. If you live in Germany, we recommend selling in Germany, which is Amazon.de. You can just get set up to sell from Seller Central Germany. And pretty much if you're anywhere else in the world, we recommend you sell in the US on Amazon.com. And once again, you can use your personal information to get started. In most cases, it only takes about 5 minutes to get a brand new Seller Central account set up. Not hard, not difficult to do. And you want to choose a professional version, which is only $39.99 a month. So very economical, but it gives you all the features and everything you'll need to do all the cool marketing stuff that we teach. And so that's how to get set up to sell. And then here's how this in general workflow works for you, so that you can run this business from anywhere in the world and have a nearly automated business that makes sales for you 24/7. So all you're going to do is whenever you figure out what product you're going to sell, you're going to contact the manufacturer, tell them to send some inventory to Fulfillment by Amazon, or also known as FBA, which is Amazon's network of warehouses all over the world that'll store inventory for you. They'll ship out products for you. And so when somebody orders from you on Amazon, they basically take care of everything else. Then when people go out there and they buy from you on Amazon, then you get paid every 14 days by Amazon. And then you just keep repeating the cycle as long as you want to grow a business as big as you want. And that's basically how this entire business works. As long as you have a laptop and an internet connection, you can be contacting suppliers, reordering inventory, having it shipped to FBA or Fulfillment by Amazon. People are ordering from you on Amazon. Amazon's taking care of all the shipping and most of the customer service, and then they pay you every 14 days. That's basically how this entire system works. So now that you're clear on how this works, now we're going to go into step 2, which is creating a list of opportunities. Step 1 was picking the platform, which we're recommending Amazon, and step 2 is creating a list of opportunities.
Yeah, so let's go over to my screen here, and bear with me. You'll see that I probably have about 30 different tabs open. We tried to get everything all lined up and prepared, but I'll be doing all this live right in front of you. You'll see exactly how we do it every time that we're going out there and building one of our own brands and products. But the first thing that you want to do is need to figure out what type of product. Don't worry about the exact product. Figure out what type of product or what market you want to go into. As you can see here, I'm actually on Amazon, and there's a couple very simple ways to come up with ideas. First off, if you happen to have any passions or interests, that's a natural place to look. And you could simply go to Amazon, and there's a button called Best Sellers that we like to start with. If you click on that, that's going to show you all of the different categories or departments on Amazon on the left-hand side. So you could simply scroll down if you wanted to and pick any one of these as a starting point for a type of product that you might want to sell in. There's also, you could go and look at your orders. If you want to go in there and see your previous orders, you can see that I've ordered some lanterns, some teeth products there. There's all kinds of ways you can go out there and find out, what did I like to buy in the past? That's another way of getting an idea of what kind of products you might want to sell. But let's imagine that we wanted to go out there and find our own product. Let's say instead of of electronics. We wanted to sell something in the kitchen category. You could simply go and click on kitchen and dining, and that's going to show you the top 100 products inside of Amazon's kitchen and dining. Now, one thing we like to do, though, is we want to avoid the top selling products because they're very, very competitive. So I always like going down another level. So let's imagine we want to sell some kind of gadgets. So I'll go down to kitchen utensils and gadgets instead. And from here, you can see that it's narrowing down everything a little bit more. And we could easily find any kind of products if we wanted to. But another little trick here to even find more products other than just the top 100 is use this other little loophole, which is where you type in a negative sign and any random character. So for example, I'm going to type in the negative sign, and then it doesn't really matter. Just hit your keyboard a bunch of times, hit enter, and then it's going to show you a good amount of products that are selling very well on Amazon. Some of the top selling products in whatever category you're in, but it's going to show you a lot more than just the top 100. It'll show you the top 200, 500,000, as far as you want to go. This is a little hack, we'll call it, in order to make sure you see all the top selling products on Amazon. Now, if I'm in this kitchen category, and I want to make sure that I'm not selling products that are going to be, a little hard to get into, you can also go and look up Amazon restricted categories, because there are some types of categories you want to stay away from initially. So on this screen right here, and you just Google Amazon's restricted categories, this is going to show you them. They don't immediately let people sell collectible coins, disposable face masks. I can imagine why right now they're not letting people do that. Fine art, all kinds of things. Products made in Italy, probably right now just being extra cautious. This was just updated. Music and DVDs. Again, this is a list of products that when you're starting out, you don't want to sell initially, but it by no means means that later on, once you're selling on Amazon, you can't go ahead and get approval to sell these type of products. We just want to make sure that it's as easy as possible. Avoid them for your first couple products, and then once your brand and business is up and selling, you don't no longer have to worry about these. You just follow the few simple rules and guidelines for getting approved, and then you can sell pretty much any product on Amazon altogether. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well is that we're building a brand here. And when we talk about building a brand, you're not going to build someone else's brand. You're going to create a product and a brand that's all your own, because when you do that, when you own the brand, you have so much more control over your business. You have control over the pricing. You have control over your listing, the images. You have control over the customer service, the quality of everything. When you go out there and sell someone else's products, you're just helping build their business. But by building your own brand, you'll be creating an asset, like we talked about earlier, that not only brings in cash every month, it builds a business and an asset that you can sell later on, even retire from. Now, another reason why you want to private label and build your own brand is the situation that I'm going to show you on my screen right here. I just pulled up this L'Oreal Paris Cosmetics, some type of mascara, and this is definitely a big brand. And if you scroll down, I'm going to do this for us here, you'll see that there are 24 different people selling this product. When that happens, everyone just continues to lower the prices. You'll notice almost all the prices over here are pretty much the same, ranging anywhere from $6.89, some as low as $2.15. Definitely someone trying just to dump their inventory. So if you were to sell someone else's brand and be in this situation, it would be a price war where literally you're not going to make any money at all, and in some cases actually lose money. That's why we want you to create your own brand. Matt's going to walk through creating the brand later on, so don't worry about that. I'm going to show you how to find products in the category that you want to sell in. So now we know we want to come up with a category that interests us. We know how to go on Amazon and look for those categories, and we know that we want to actually private label our own brand. So let's go out there and actually create a list of products that we might want to sell. So I'm going to go quickly back to Amazon and go to the best sellers. I'm going to go down to the kitchen category again, and there we go. I'm going to go down one more level into the kitchen gadgets. I'm going to use our little hack here to pull up a lot of different products that are doing really well. And then what we want to start looking for is those that are making a significant amount of revenue and have a few other criteria. Now, we use a tool right now. It's called Retriever, managed by Stats. We actually love this tool so much that we invested in the company. For full disclosure, we helped them build this tool because we wanted everything they were doing were things that helped us grow our business. So we worked with them on building this tool that now we use it all the time. You can get this for free if you want to go and check it out there as well. But when you pull this tool up, you'll see that it starts telling us all kinds of great things about these products. Tells us how many sales they're making in units per month, tells us the revenue per month, how many reviews they have, all kinds of things. Now, what we want to do now is kind of narrow down things to the criteria that we know will help us find great opportunities. So I'm going to click on this filter, And then I know that I want to sell products that cost less than $100. The reason being is because when you sell products that cost more than that, you're going to spend a lot of money on inventory. If you want to sell anything that's over $150, $200, $500, you're going to spend probably a couple $100 per unit. And so even if you want to only buy 5 units to get going, you could be out a couple $1,000s right there. So if you stick to products that are costing less than $100 on Amazon, that's going to limit things for you a bit as well. Now, I also want to make sure that we're making enough sales on this, because let's face it, we're only in this business, or one major reason is you're in this business is you need to make a profit, otherwise you can't get going. You need to make a significant amount of income. So I'm also going to filter for products that are making at least $40,000 a month in revenue. Now, by doing that, if you do the math, $40,000 a month times 12, these products on the screen are all doing about $500,000 or more. I'm going to show you 20 products later on in our list that are doing $1 million to $4 million, but this is just one way to find ones that are even doing only $500,000, which think about at a 30% profit margin, that's well over $100,000 a year in pure profit, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's a big benefit of that, by that $40,000 number is when we've talked with a lot of people, a lot of them, their kind of goal is to make, 10 to 20 grand a month in profit from their business. And so if their product's doing a minimum of $40,000 a month, a typical profit margin we see after everything included is say around 25%. That means if it's doing 40 grand a month in revenue, 10 grand a month would be profit. And so if you have a business that's doing 40 grand a month in revenue, you could be profiting $10,000 a month, which is a 6-figure year income from your business. And you can just grow from there, and we'll talk about how to do that later. But that's kind of why we like to use that number, because we've known after talking with so many people that that's the general target that a lot of people want to hit when they're first starting out.
Absolutely. And another filter that I'll put in sometimes, if I want to make sure that I'm staying away from those top 100, I'll even put the 100 as the minimum rank. That's kind of like how Amazon ranks things. And if you'll notice, we still have plenty of opportunities here. There's still 7 opportunities for products that are doing over $40,000 a month. Here are the top one. That's crazy. $387,000 a month. That's a $4 million plus product right there. So this is a good way to come up with opportunities. You could go to several different categories, run through this little list procedure right here, see which ones kind of pique your interest, which ones are making enough money for you, and then I would put them into a spreadsheet. That's what I did right here. You'll see a whole list. I always like to keep track of all these products so that I know which ones I've looked at, which ones actually make sense to me. And then once you've done that, you can actually go through then and start looking at each one a little bit more in depth, because the next thing we're going to want to do is find a supplier for these products.
Yeah, one cool thing here actually is if you look at that top product, it's by a brand called Bliss Lights, which maybe somebody knows more than me, but I don't think that's a massive brand out there. But if you look towards the third from the bottom, Philips Hue, that's a massive brand. I mean, we've got some of those in our house. It's an amazing product and stuff, but they've put a ton of marketing dollars, and Philips is a massive company. And so it's the small brand is beating the big brand because they know Amazon better, which is a really cool thing for what you're learning here.
Yeah, you'll learn pretty soon that the big brands just look at Amazon as another of many marketing channels, and they definitely don't put their focus on it. It's just a small place to go out there and get a few additional sales. For us, we focus on it, and it can be a life-changing type of business when you do that. Mm-hmm. Now, the product that I found here in the kitchen and the tools is a product called a Lava Tools Javelin Pro Ambidextrous. Remember that, it's ambidextrous digital instant read meat thermometer. The reason I pulled this up is because not only is this kind of a really cool looking product, but one we can all start relate to. It's springtime here in the United States. I'm thinking about grilling, so this one definitely piques my interest. Also, I know that this product, I'm going to pull up the amount that it's doing here. Oops. Losing my screen here. This is all live, folks. We're not making this up. This product is $145,000 a month. So we're looking at a $1.7, $1.8 million a year product. So it definitely meets all of the different criteria we're looking for. Now, if I want to go out there and actually make our own product, you might think it's a little hard to do. It's not. We simply go to a site called Alibaba.com. You can see right here, it's simply typing in Alibaba.com. And all you need to do is type in the product that you're looking for. So I'm going to type in digital meat thermometer, and I'm going to pull it up right there. And this is going to pull up a whole bunch. As a matter of fact, when I say whole bunch, we're talking tens of thousands, thousands of products. There are 8,975 results for digital meat thermometer. These are manufacturers, primarily in China, some other parts of the world as well, that are making generic versions of these products and looking for people like us to put our own logos, our own branding, our own packaging around it. And it's incredibly simple to go out there and search for these companies. Now, what we want to do is find one that looks a little bit similar to our product. Let's take a look at our product. There it is. Wow, this one right here, not only looks a little bit similar, looks exactly the same except for the color being different. And if I scroll down, we'd see several other products out there as well that look, here's one right here that actually looks like it might even be the same picture as our product. Now the pricing here is anywhere from 90 cents to $5.90 a piece. And the minimum order quantity, so the way that the minimum to get started, is only 10 pieces. So we always like to look for suppliers that not only make a product for the price that we want in order to make a profit off it, but don't ask for any kind of astronomical, any multiple thousands of units of initial inventory. And this right here would definitely be a supplier that I would want to contact and start asking questions about for that product. Now, this is how I would find a product like this. I could go out there and probably find 3 or 4 different products on Alibaba, contact those suppliers, get pricing to make sure that the pricing is accurate, and then I'd go on there and maybe get samples later on. But what if you also wanted to find a product not manufactured in China? You want to find one in the United States. There are absolutely opportunities like that out there as well. So here's one, and I kid you not, we didn't pull this up because what's going on. This one is a great selling product. It's Puracy Natural Foaming Hand Soap. It's a refill. And this product, let me pull up and see what it's doing in revenue. It's doing almost $300,000 a month in revenue. I looked at the trend for this one. It was still doing over $100,000 a month, even last fall. So even though we know these products are doing well right now, they've been doing well forever. And I guarantee that after what's going on, these will be types of products that are still going to be in high demand going forward. It's not going to suddenly stop and people are going to suddenly stop washing their hands. They're going to continue doing this for a very long time. And this product you can source in the United States. You don't even have to go to China. So if you have any concerns at all about how long it's going to take a product to get here, you can find products like this in the United States. I did a quick Google search, just did a search for private label organic soap. And then I was able to pull up one of these right away. This is just one of many suppliers. Here's a company called Vermont Soap, and they have an entire page dedicated to their foamer soap. And they even say right here, it's customized organic foaming hand and body soaps. So if you wanted to sell a product like this, you simply would contact them, tell them that you're interested in selling some organic foaming hand soap, and they would give you some quotes and maybe send you a sample, and then you could sell that product if you wanted to. So you're definitely not limited to just sourcing products from China. You can find products in the United States. And generally, we say, Matt, any product that goes on your skin or in your body, those are the types of products that you can sell and source from the United States. I also know that cleaning products are products you can source in the United States. And then pretty much anything else you buy on Amazon, that's where you want to go to Alibaba and try sourcing from there as well.
Yeah, we talk a lot about sourcing products from China using Alibaba. That's just because there's so many products that come from there. I mean, China's kind of the manufacturing hub of the entire world. Probably like 80% of the products out there that our students sell, or probably in general sold on Amazon, are coming from China. But you don't have to sell products from there. There's some products that come from places like Pakistan and then Taiwan and other places like that. But there's also a good chunk of products that come right from here in the U.S. Like Mike said, health supplements, nutritional supplements. Same thing applies for pet supplements. Some food-related products, maybe like pet foods and that kind of thing. Beauty products, creams, and that kind of stuff that you put on your skin. All that kind of stuff is likely going to come from the U.S. And like Mike said, this kind of product also comes from right here in the U.S. So you can absolutely do this entire business and do it selling those kind of products. You're just basically going wherever the supply happens to be, which is typically going to be one or two of the places because that's where it's just most economical. But you can build this entire business selling products sourced from the U.S., shipped from the U.S., all that sort of stuff if you want to. It's just, the vast majority of products are likely going to come from overseas.
Now, the next step would be actually determining how much money, how much profit you're going to make off of each of these products. So once you've built a list, kind of like we talked about here, we need to then go out there and figure out, well, how much profit am I going to make off that? And Amazon has created an awesome tool. It's still one of the tools that I know other companies have tried to recreate, but there's no point in it because Amazon does this better than anyone else. It's called the Fulfillment by Amazon Revenue Calculator. You can Google that to find this exact page right here, but you only need a few things. So first off, we're going to put in what's called the ASIN. This is simply just a unique identifier that Amazon gives the product they're going to be selling. So for the meat thermometer, you see it right up here in the URL. There's that ASIN right there. It's just kind of a weird, funky looking number. You're going to put that into this calculator and then hit search. It's going to pull up the product right there. And then there's only a few pieces of information we need to give to Amazon. The first is, how much is this product going to sell for? If we look over here, we can see that this product is selling for $49.99. So let's assume that we're going to start off selling ours for $49.99 as well. Then we need to know how much it's going to cost to ship this product to Amazon. This is a really light product. You can see it tells us up here it's 0.3 pounds. I have products that are a pound or a couple pounds. Usually on average, those cost about $1 to have imported from China, where I source those from. But let's just kind of be safe. I'm still going to put down $1. It's worst case scenario, it's going to take $1 to get this product to your shipping wise. We'll put that in there. And then the last thing we need to put in is the actual cost of the product so Amazon can do its magic. Now, if we go back to Alibaba, we see this product right down here. It goes anywhere from 90 cents to $5.90. Let's assume we're going to order the smallest quantity and we're going to pay the highest price. Again, just to be safe, we're going to pay $5.90 for this product. So we're going to put that into the calculator. And then we're going to hit calculate. Now, you can ignore this entire left-hand column that says your fulfillment. That's for only people or sellers who ship themselves. We don't recommend that. We don't want you to do that. So just focus on this right-hand column. We're going to hit calculate. And then it's going to tell you exactly how much in profit you'll make dollars-wise and percentage-wise. For this product, for every sale, you would make over $32 in profit, which is a 64% profit margin. Now, don't be wrong, not every product is going to have that great of a profit margin, and you'll have to spend some money on advertising as well. May want to run some external ads at some point in time. We'll talk about that in a little bit in the launching, but in general, this product has a fantastic profit margin, and this would go on the top of my list on product opportunities. And as you can see, it only took a few minutes, other than me talking like I'm talking, to find products like this, to find the exact cost for them on Alibaba, and then also find out what the true profit would be by plugging those numbers right into the Amazon FBA revenue calculator.
Yeah, so what Mike just went through was kind of step 3 about narrowing the list down. And so the next parts we want to go into is picking a brand. But we also want to show you, the reason we know this thing works is here's George, who's never done this business before. He says a little less than a year ago, I earned my 25K badge, which inside of our community, that means $25,000 a month. And he says, today I've qualified for my $50,000 a month badge. And so he says, I'm of the camp that slow and steady wins the race. And so here his screenshot is basically showing month to date for February of 2020, so just last month. This was as of the 28th, so the day before the end of the month. He was posting that he'd made about $55,000 in sales selling products. I don't really know what he sells. Sometimes I prefer not to know so we don't accidentally share it on a live training. But he sells a product, I'm sure, that's something like exactly like one of these things because he's followed our training. So the next step is to pick one of these products and brand it. So you've chosen the platform, which is Amazon. You've created a list of opportunities. You've looked at supplier costs. You've run the profit tool like Mike mentioned. So you've narrowed this list way down. And so hopefully by that point, at some point, you just need to sort of pick one of these things and create a brand and start moving forward. And so fortunately nowadays, creating a brand is super easy, and you absolutely want to own your own brand because it's so easy. With the steps Mike showed you, how easy it is to find these products on Alibaba and other supplier websites, there's no reason to go out there and sell somebody else's brand and basically have them in the middle between you and the actual manufacturer, having to pay a bunch of money to this brand when you can just go create your own. So creating a brand is super easy. First step, come up with a list of potential brand names for your market. Second is to check for .com domains and trademarks in the US. So US trademark search is very easy. All you do is literally Google US trademark search and you'll see a little search tool that's created by the government, super easy. And just make sure that the .com domain and the trademark is available. Then get a logo created. So we recommend a couple sites, either Fiverr.com with 2 R's, Fiverr.com. You can get a logo created there for about $10. Or you can go to 99designs.com if you want a nicer logo. If you're just starting out, totally you can just go with a cheaper option. Get your ball rolling, get some profit coming in, and then you can always invest to upgrade the brand later. But if you really want a nice logo from the beginning, go to a site like 99designs.com. For a few $100, you can get a great logo. That's pretty much where I get all my logos from for any business, no matter the size, the scope, the budget, whatever. It's a great site for that. Then get your packaging designed. Now, when it comes to getting your initial packaging design, I highly recommend you really just have the manufacturer do it. Because you can go out there and have your own nice packaging designed by, for example, a designer on 99designs.com. But if you have the manufacturer do it, you'll save a lot of money. So having packaging design done professionally may cost you another few $100. But if you really want to go at it as economical as possible, we'll just have the manufacturer do it. In most cases, they can basically just use something that they already have and put your logo on it, and it'll cost you essentially nothing. And you'll be able to get up and running faster. You don't have to wait for another designer, and it'll be cheaper. And once again, you can always upgrade your branding and packaging later. There's no point in taking a ton of risk just to get started. I mean, that's our whole thing, is we don't want you putting a ton of money into this business and being like, well, I hope this thing works. We want you being as smart as efficient and as economical when you're starting this business as possible, so your risk is as low as possible, while you're still reaping the entire rewards of building this business.
You know, we've had some students actually start off with just nothing more than a plastic bag that product goes in and a sticker on the outside. We're not saying that you absolutely do that necessarily, but that just shows you that you can still be successful no matter what your budget is for inventory and what type of packaging you really want to put your invest in right now. You do not have to do that too much. You can just focus on something very basic to get going, and then like Matt said, really increase it and improve it later on.
Yeah, and I know our team has told me they were getting a ton of questions. We're getting some on text line and also in the video player if you're watching this on YouTube. We're going to be getting to the live Q&A at the end, so we're going to be pulling a lot of those at the end of this. So we will be getting to those. It's just obviously a little bit tough for us to answer them live like throughout the training, but we are going to have a live Q&A after the training portion. So don't worry, we will be getting to those before too long. So the next step is to launch your product. So now that you've chosen one, you've created a brand, and next step, as soon as you get your inventory live, is to launch it so that you can produce sales and start making profit as fast as possible.
All right, so there's a series of steps that we run through every single launch. It's not that complicated. It's more like a formula that you follow in order to get your product up and selling on Amazon, and it starts with a few basic things. The first is to make sure that your product listing on Amazon looks as good as it possibly can be. So I've pulled up here the meat thermometer again, and this product looks pretty good. Their images are very good, which is one of the things we want to make sure that everyone always focuses on. Your images are going to get the attention of buyers more than anything. So that's one of the first things you should make sure you have. Have a clear first image with a white background around it. And then what's critical is to make sure you have some pictures of your product being used. Here's someone using this meat thermometer while baking, and then someone using it while grilling. And then they've also done a really good job of creating what's called an infographic. This gives someone all the details about the product. They don't even have to read the description or the bullet points. They could go to this picture and read just about everything they wanted to about this product. So images are one of the critical things you want to make sure you have as good as possible before you launch. Now, in addition to your images, you also need to make sure that you have a title that is not only compelling and gets the attention of a buyer, but it also has the right keywords in it. So for example, if you knew that meat thermometer was the key keyword that most people will be searching for your product, you absolutely want to make sure that that is in your title. And preferably, we always teach people put it in the first 5 words of your title. Now the seller, as good as they're doing right here, they don't have that in the first 5 words. So this is something that you could come in and do yourself and probably get even more searches because you'd have that in the first 5 words. Now, in addition to the keywords, you also need to make sure that you have your what we call the bullet points. That's underneath the title. These 5 different things that tell people the benefits of your product. We always want to make sure that people are more inclined to list out the features, like all the different neat things about your product. But from years of selling, we know you want to talk about the benefits. How is this going to make a person's life better if they were to buy your product? And then the last thing you want to look for as well is you want to make sure that you have a good product description. I'm scrolling down here and you'll see that it's under the section called product description, that this seller right here has a, pretty basic one here. This is something called enhanced brand content. It's a new thing on Amazon that you can get access to as well. But this allows you to put some more pictures in, a logo, tell a little bit about your story, but they're not really making much use of it. This is nice and clean, but if I were the seller of this product, I'd probably want to go out there and put a video in. You have that capability now as well. I might want to tell a little bit more about the brand, but they're doing, again, I can't complain. These guys are doing really well, making like 1.5 to million a year, so something is working good. But that would be the 4th thing you want to go through and make sure that your description is compelling as possible, and also make sure that it also has any other keywords you think people might be searching for when they're buying your product. Now, speaking of keywords, the next step is also to make sure you pick the first keyword that you want to target. Now, I mentioned that for this product, we all probably intuitively think that either meat thermometer or digital meat thermometer is the right keyword. And while that's probably one of the most common ones, we don't recommend you start with that. Every seller of a digital meat thermometer is going to be spending advertising and targeting that search phrase of digital meat thermometer. What we found, and one of the tricks to launching a product and getting sales and rankings right away, is to pick a longer keyword to go for. And so like I could look at this title and probably know that, digital instant read meat thermometer for kitchen might be better because I know that. But if you don't know that, how do you find out what these longer term keywords to go for are? You simply let Amazon ask you. So if I'm going to go in there and let's use their auto search feature. If I'm going to type in meat thermometer, Now you'll notice already that they start giving us all different types of suggestions here. And if they're suggesting it, even though this is a pretty long one, meat thermometer, oven safe leave-in, I wouldn't think of that. That's not how I search and think. But apparently some people are searching for something like that. Then that would be the keyword that I would go for. You want a longer keyword that might be easier to get, but that it contains the primary one as well. So meat thermometer, later on, once I'm selling, I'm gonna go for that one maybe 6-12 months down the road, but I'm gonna start off focusing on meat thermometer, oven safe leave-in, and then once I start getting sales and ranking for that, then I might shorten it just to meat thermometer, oven safe. And then once I start moving up in the search rankings for that, I'll shorten it again and then start focusing on meat thermometer. If you take this approach where you're building a brick wall, you start with the longest keywords that are easiest at the bottom, and you slowly move up as you gain ranking and sales until finally you're ranking for that primary keyword that you really eventually want to go for. But this is all about making things easier for you and starting off and getting sales right away. That's why we want you to focus on this little trick. Use Amazon's own keyword suggestions. Start with a longer one, probably somewhere between 4 and 7 words. Target that, and then you will start making sales and start moving up, and you can target the other keywords as well.
Yeah, so once you have a good listing created and you've also figured out the keyword that you want to target, we have a few steps that we like to walk people through in terms of how to actually get ranked for those keywords. So the first step is whenever you're launching a product, create a 20 to 30% off discount. This allows you to get more conversions, which will help you increase rankings faster whenever you're first just getting started. Kind of gives people an incentive to buy then as opposed to waiting. Then you want to create an Amazon sponsored ads campaign. So these are little ad slots that are all over on Amazon. Super easy to set up inside of Seller Central. You can literally click like one button and you'll be able to launch your ad campaign because they have an auto version that doesn't require hardly any setup whatsoever.
You know, if you want to show my screen real quick, I did a search for meat thermometer, and these first 4 results up here, these are all sponsored campaigns. You can tell them by the word sponsored. And all that the sellers of these have done is they have simply went out there and created a campaign like Matt mentions, and then your ads, instead of like spending weeks, months, or maybe longer getting your product to show at the top, you can basically pay Amazon to get it up there from day one using these auto keyword campaigns that Matt's talking about.
Yeah, so you would create your first campaign, which is the auto one, and then your second one is you would target just that one keyword. Like only targeting that one keyword is going to help laser focus the traffic so that you rank for that keyword faster. And like Mike said, after you get ranked for that one, then you pick your next keyword, your next keyword, your next keyword, then all of a sudden you're producing sales all day long. So you create those 2 simple ad campaigns, and then optional, a lot of people, if you want to create a Facebook page for your brand, an Instagram account for your brand, you could start posting on that during the launch period also to let people know there's a discount running, that you've just launched your product. That can be helpful also, but it is optional. And then run this style of campaign, run these few steps for 1 to 2 weeks, and you will start ranking higher and higher for that keyword. And then you basically just keep repeating this process as much as you want to rank for other keywords, and then you'll start getting sales from all other places on Amazon. Sometimes you'll get sales and you have no idea where they're coming from because your product gets featured all kinds of different places on Amazon. So that's basically how it works. You'll start getting sales, and then all of a sudden you can keep sort of growing your business from there.
And if you may be wondering or concerned about like, well, wow, sounds like I have to spend a ton of money on advertising. The way that Amazon's advertising works is that you don't actually send them money to advertise. They simply take it, they deduct it from every sale that you make. So if you make a few sales here, Amazon's going to put money into, hold money in your account for, 14 days. As you use advertising, they just deduct from that. It's not you're sending the money. So really it helps with your cash flow to have Amazon kind of footing the bill for your advertising. And in addition, like the social media posting that Matt says is optional, we've had people ask us before, like, how much does it cost though to create a Facebook page or to create a Pinterest page? Nothing. You can create your Facebook page, Pinterest, Instagram, Google Business. All those are completely free. You don't have to start off right now, but if you're worried about all the costs of doing all these things, all those take us a little bit of time, and they don't have to be anything fancy at all. It's a free way to get additional traffic that when you have a downtime, go ahead and set those up, and then you'll get to some additional free traffic down the road.
Yeah, so to give you a recap of the 5 steps that we've covered so far to launch your business is, first off, you choose a platform, which we recommend Amazon. Second off, you create a list of product opportunities. Third, you narrow that list down after you've researched suppliers and your costs and profit margins. Fourth is you pick one of those products and you brand it, create your own brand. And then fifth, launch the product so you start ranking for keywords. That in a nutshell are the main steps of building this business. Now, you might be wondering, what's next in this business? Well, the next part is to grow your sales by not just ranking for more keywords, but growing your product catalog. And the way we like to explain this is, I was actually reading a book, a few years ago. It was called Snowball. It was all about Warren Buffett. And they were talking about when he was younger that him and a friend, they ended up buying a pinball machine and putting it inside of a bar or a restaurant. And so they had it sitting there. They paid, however much money for this pinball machine. Every single day, people are playing this thing. Every single day, it's making money for them. And so what they end up doing is they use the cash flow from that to buy another one. So now they have two of these in two different places, both making money for them. Now they have two of them that are basically doubling the amount of money that they're making. And so they end up buying two more. And this allows them their business to keep growing essentially exponentially. And so you can do the same thing with this kind of business. So this product right here is a little foot massager you put your feet in. It's a product opportunity on Amazon. So if this were your first product, for example, you get it going, you get it live, it starts producing cash, you're ranking for keywords, it's producing profit. Then you use the profits from that to fund your next product. And now you have two products that are up and making money for you. And then you're able to add two more products if you want. Some people, they take one product and that achieves all their financial goals. Most people, it'll take a few products, and then it's kind of up to you, how big do you want to go? If you want to go bigger, you add more products. If you want to run a nice lifestyle business that produces you, say for example, a 6-figure a year income, that's possible with a handful of products. And so it really depends where you want to go with the business at that point. And that's kind of why, you get people that are able to build these kind of businesses and then sell them within a few years, because they may be like, well, I don't really feel like managing a business that has 50 products and employees and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to kind of take my money. And then you get somebody else that comes along and they're like, heck, I'm totally used to doing that. We're going to add 50 products to this brand, and we're also going to add, a team behind it and all that kind of stuff. So they come in, they buy the business from you, and then basically you end up with cash and they keep growing it. Or you partner together and you do it together. Either way, that's exactly how the growth of this business works, is you grow it by increasing the sales of the first product and then adding more products to your brand to go as big as you want.
All right, so one of the things we promised you at the beginning of this live training is that we're going to show you a list of, or give you a list of 20 products that are all generating at least $1 million in revenue each year. And the list, we just looked at it right before we started. It's actually anywhere between 1 and 4 million. The minimum on this list is they're making $1 million in revenue. We have one that's selling just around $4 million in revenue. I'm going to show you the first 5 of those, and then I think in the Q&A, we'll give you a link. You can just download the entire list. But here's one right here. These are dry erase markers. These sell about $1.1 million per year. And by no means, Expo does not have the monopoly on this market. We know that people go out there, you can source these easily and sell them yourselves. So you could buy, easily find a supplier, sell these, create your own brand of dry erase markers, and potentially tap into that $1.1 million per year market. Now, number 2 product, this is face moisturizing cream. Again, like Matt mentioned, this is something that goes on your skin. It's a beauty product. So this is something you could source right inside the United States. And this product right here generates almost $2 million, about $1.9 million per year. The third product is a reversible quilted sofa cover. I showed you this early on, how you can really find and narrow down to some very unique keywords to start getting searches for that. And if you're able to do that for this product does about $2.3 million per year. Now, number 4 is, again, the hand foam, the organic foaming hand soap. This one does about $1.4 million per year. And then the Black & Decker Dustbuster handheld vacuum. Black & Decker is not the only company that makes vacuums out there. We know people that are going out there not only making vacuums like this. I don't know if you've heard about the Roomba, the automated robot. Those are killing it on Amazon right now. And the top selling ones aren't even Roomba. They're other people like us who've created their own brands of these robotic vacuums. This handheld one, though, this little one, does over $4.3 million per year. Now, if you want to download the list, we'll give you the link later on. You can download all 20 of the products.
Yeah, so we've covered a lot so far. So the reason we know this is possible is because we've helped so many people do exactly this. One of the examples that comes to mind is a couple that actually just moved here to Austin, I think from Ohio, Jenna and Travis Ziegler. And so they were both optometrists. They still are optometrists. They had a couple local clinics, and they liked the work that they did, but they were just kind of burnt out. They were having to see patients all day long, and they didn't have any time to do anything else that they wanted to do. And most importantly, what they really wanted to do was go out there and do charity work outside the U.S. to help people that would literally never be able to see again or never be able to have eye surgeries and that kind of thing without their help, because they just don't have the money. And so they were able to follow this exact same business model and build a business that, in this screenshot, this is from October of 2017 to October of 2018, did over $3 million that year, and the business has just kept growing since then. And so they were able to get rid of their clinics and build an online business full-time following this exact same model. And now they get to go out there and do what they're most passionate about, which is helping people all around the world literally see again that would never have that opportunity. So that's what's possible with this business. It's not just about, making extra money, buying nice cars, or whatever it is that you want to do. A lot of times people do this business because it's all about making an impact and having the freedom to do what you really want to do with your time as opposed to what you have to do at a job. So how do you avoid failing even if you've failed before at another business or anything else you've tried to do that may be similar? First off, make sure the product has a good profit potential. Don't lie to yourself, run the numbers, use the calculator that Mike showed you. It's 100% free. Make sure the product can actually make good profit. Look for products with low competition. Just like Mike showed you, if you search for the right kind of keyword, you will be able to find products that have almost no competition for that keyword. Start there and then build. Third is to sell easy products. Sell products that are light and small. Avoid the restricted categories. It's going to speed up your success dramatically and it'll cut months off the time it takes you to get up and running. Fourth, only sell high quality products. It's going to be a real person at the other end of that transaction. It's not some random person that doesn't actually exist. It's a real human being on the other end of that transaction. They're going to receive that Amazon box on their doorstep. The better the experience that is with your product, the more likely it is that they're going to rebuy. They're going to rebuy the same product, rebuy your future products, tell other people about your products, and give you good reviews. All of those things help you sell more on Amazon. Fifth, launch and relaunch every new product. Never stop the marketing aspect. Do the stuff that we've shown you so far in the live training again and again and again. Every time you get new inventory, run the launch process again. Every time you launch a new product, run the same process again so your business keeps growing forever. And lastly, get someone to guide you. When I was first building my own business, I thought I could do everything on my own. I didn't know any better. I ended up building a business with a couple $1 million a year in revenue, but it put me $100,000 in credit card debt. And so when that happened, I realized I had to go out there and learn from other people who knew what they were doing, and I couldn't sit there and try to figure everything out on my own. So trust me, you do not want to try to figure all this stuff out on your own. Find somebody who's been there and done that before, and you've taken a great first step by joining us so far on this live training, but don't try to do all this on your own. Follow in the footsteps of somebody who's been there and done that before so that you don't waste a couple years and a lot of painful experiences and stress like I did.
That's what I did. Luckily I was fortunate enough to find Matt, and he was able to show me exactly how to build this business. I don't think I could have done it nearly as well or fast had I ever, not had him and so many people to support me in this journey.
Yeah, for sure. So, we've covered a ton of stuff so far, but it's really just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more we can teach you about how to find the perfect products, how to find the perfect suppliers, how to negotiate pricing so that you can cut 10, 20, 30, 40% off the cost of your products, how to brand the products so that people will actually want to buy, how to craft the perfect product listings with the images, the bullets, the descriptions, the titles, and everything else, the step-by-step process to launch the product from A to Z, how that whole thing works, how to optimize and set up your Amazon sponsored ads, how to use external traffic sources to increase the sales of your business, how to use things like messenger bots and ManyChat to also increase the sales, all that kind of stuff. We're already sitting here over an hour, and we obviously couldn't get to all that stuff, but there's so much more we can show you. So before we move on, I want to ask you a couple questions. Which one of these really fits you right now? Are you tired of trading your time for money at a 9-to-5 job? Do you want to spend more time with those that you love? Do you want more financial freedom to do what you want rather than what somebody else tells you to do? Do you not want to be tied down to a location or an office, and you want to be able to do what you want when you want, and you want at least a 6-figure profit business of your own? And you believe that you could be really successful if you just had the right help? Well, if all that matches you, then here's what I consider the 4 pillars of rapid business success. First off is having a proven system to follow, not trying to figure everything out on your own. Second is having experts to get help from. There's inevitably going to be stuff that pops up that you're going to need an answer to, and you can spend months or years trying to figure it out yourself, or you can go and directly to the source of people who've been there and done that and find out what the real answer is. And having a great environment for success. If you're somebody that you're one of the only people you know that's running a business or thinking about running a business, you're surrounded by a bunch of other people who've never done that kind of thing and think that it's crazy, your odds of success are going to be way lower than if you get around a bunch of other people that are also building and growing successful e-commerce businesses. The fourth pillar is the right tools and resources. So you're not trying to figure all this stuff out on your own. You're able just to use what already works. You can save time, save money, and produce bigger success. And so we've taken these 4 pillars into account and built a program that we call Amazing Selling Machine. So Amazing Selling Machine is a proven step-by-step program to help you achieve success as fast as possible following this exact same model. You get to save thousands of hours and avoid huge mistakes. You can build a profitable business faster and easier. And you get insider access to Mike, myself, and other multi-million-dollar e-commerce experts. And you get to create a valuable brand that you own forever and achieve the dream life that you've always wanted. Now, the first component of this is a step-by-step online web class. There's 153 video lessons in there, 8 modules, 40 hours of content. You get to go at your own pace. You can watch anytime. There's easy to follow videos. And you get free updates. We don't charge for future updates because we want to make sure that you always have the latest and best strategies available. And you can start this today. You don't have to wait for any sort of class period or any of that kind of stuff. You can watch it anytime you want, and you can literally start today. And we also have 2 other amazing people in there, Dan and Rich, that are inside the community all the time helping you build this business. Both have sold tons on Amazon and helped tons of people sell even more, and they're going to be inside there with us. So overview of the web class, there's about 14 to 21 lessons per module. Each lesson and module builds on what you've already learned and done. There's a bonus welcome module you get that's included when you get started, and you get to earn badges in our custom-built membership platform to reward you for your progress. So the first 4 modules, in module 1, you learn the exact process to find your perfect product to sell. In module 2, you learn how to find high-quality, low-cost suppliers. In module 3, you learn how to create an irresistible brand that stands out. In module 4, you lay your marketing foundation before your product launch. Then the second half, modules 5 through 8, module 5 is all about crafting a high-converting product page. Module 6 is your step-by-step successful product launch plan. And then module 7 includes advanced marketing and traffic tools. And module number 8 is all about scaling your business to build your dream life. And just an hour or 2 a day is all it literally takes for you to go through the training and implement what we say. And just an hour or 2 a day, you can build a successful business following this program. The next component is the mentor program. So we have 21 real experts that we've invited to help people out inside the community. On average, they've each sold over $1.8 million on Amazon. They're available for you 24/7 to push through obstacles and speed up your success and avoid major mistakes. Here's an example, a screenshot of $3.4 million. That's actual sales from one of our mentors that are inside the community helping people out. So you also get access to the private community that's only for Amazing Selling Machine members. There's over 25,000 active members, over 5,400 weekly interactions, members from 138 countries, includes 7-figure sellers, 8-figure sellers. You get tons of motivation and inspiration from other people doing this exact same business, like some of the screenshots that we've shared in the live training today. You also get accountability. And lastly, you get the private resource vault, which includes a private collection of resources that we've built and used in our own e-commerce businesses to sell millions of dollars. We're giving those resources to you to help you move faster. It includes personal contacts of businesses and service providers that we actually use in our own businesses. There's 44 resources in there worth over $10,000. Includes an expert freight forwarder. So if you've been a little bit confused about how you get a product from China, for example, all the way to Amazon, the answer is a freight forwarder. They take care of that whole process for you. We literally give you the one that we use in our own businesses. We also give you top product photographers, so you get incredible photos as cheap as possible, so you can sell as much as possible on Amazon. And there's tons more stuff in there. We also have a special bonus, which is the software tool suite. This is an exclusive deal only for ASM members. It would cost you thousands of dollars if you were to go out there and put all this together on your own, but you get it as an ASM member included. You get the product finder software, a powerful keyword research tool, unlimited keyword tracking, customer email automation to literally automatically follow up with your customers that buy from you on Amazon, so you're not having to manually email them one by one to increase reviews and rankings on Amazon. And so you get this 100% free for a full year. Now, because of the special deal we worked out, like I said, it would cost you thousands of dollars in that first year, but you get it for free inside of ASM. But if you want to keep using it beyond the year, we worked an incredible deal that if you want to keep using it, it'll be a super low cost of about $40 a month is what we've calculated. And so here's an overview of your whole program for success. You get the online web class, the mentor program, access to the private community, the private resource vault, and the seller software tool suite. So the value of the online web class is worth about $4,000 alone. The mentor program worth about $2,500 alone. The private community worth about $1,000. The private resource vault about $1,500. And the seller software tool suite easily worth at least $1,300. Total value of all this easily over $10,000. But the real value of what you get is the exact process to build a six-figure profit business. The ability to create a brand with products like we've shown you so far, and also giving you the list of 20 of that are doing $1 million to $4 million a year, showing you how to create a brand with one of those kind of products, a systematic, replicable process to go as big as you want in this business, and you get access to a program that we invest over $2 million a year into. But most importantly, you get the opportunity to have a lifetime of freedom, never be dependent on somebody else for your financial livelihood again. That's what's really on this table here. And your investment for all this is only $547 a month. And after 12 payments, you're completely done. You get lifetime access and completely free updates to new versions of Amazing Selling Machine. And if you want, you can also save by paying in full up front and actually get an even better deal. So we've shown you some of the people that have gone out there and followed Amazing Selling Machine and built incredible businesses. We could show you these all day long, but we really want to get into your questions. But I'll just show you a couple more. So Boris here doing $40,000 a month. Daniel doing 329,000 pounds in a single month, I believe. And then here's Pankaj, who just posted recently, who's hitting $1,300 in 7 days. It's a very recent screenshot, brand new in this business. There's Paul Nickel, who's doing $127,000. This is from August of 2019 to September of 2019. And so all this is covered. We want to make sure that you can do this with absolutely zero risk. First off, there's a 30-day guarantee. This is an unconditional risk-free guarantee. You can try everything out. You get to watch the lessons, get help from the mentors, use the resources, and you're 100% covered. Anytime in the next 30 days, if you want out, just let our support team know. You can email us, support@Amazing.com. You can click the live chat link anywhere on our website. You can call us, you can text us, you can do whatever you want, and we'll make sure you get your money back if you decide to get out in the next 30 days. Now, because of everything going on in the world right now, we know a lot of people are scared. They're scared about investing in new stuff because there's uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future. It's our belief, and we don't have a crystal ball either, but it's our belief that things are going to sort themselves out in a relatively short period of time. The world is going to be more or less getting back to normal, and people are going to be moving forward. We're already seeing that direction with Chinese suppliers and with just in general in business and everything else. But we know there is a lot of uncertainty out there. So we wanted to do something special that we've never offered before, and we're calling this the 2020 Success Agreement. And like I said, this has never been available before, but it's because of this unique situation that we're facing right now. So we want to make sure that you building this business is failure-proof. If you're afraid that this may not work out, if you're afraid something weird may happen on a prolonged basis because of all this stuff in the world, we want to make sure that you're completely covered. So you basically get until the end of 2020, which is over 9 months from now, to give this business a try with no risk whatsoever. All you have to do is launch a new product following the ASM training within 6 months. Super easy, even with slower supply reductions and that kind of thing, which is all sorting itself out right now. All you have to do is get a new product live in the first 6 months, which should be no problem at all. Most people should be able to get it live within 4 months, and even that's a decent amount of time to make it happen. And you have to do all the marketing steps in those first 9 months. Once again, super easy to accomplish. You should have no problem doing that. Most of the marketing steps will take all of 2 weeks or so whenever you get your product live. And so these are very easy things to accomplish. We just want to make sure that you've at least given the business a try. If you do all that stuff and then you decide by the end of 2020 that you're not happy with this business, just let us know and we'll give you a 100% refund on ASM. Not only that, we'll even buy back up to $5,000 in unsold inventory from you. So if something happens and you get your product and people don't want to buy it for whatever reason, then we will actually buy the inventory back from you that you haven't sold. That's how confident we are that this business model works, that Amazing Selling Machine works, and that you can go out there and be successful in this business in 2020. Not later, not after everything going on right now, but literally this year in 2020. This crazy guarantee, we've never offered these terms and this kind of guarantee before, but that's how confident we are this is going to work out for you. And we also have something even better for you. So for the first 20 people today, this is only available right now for the first 20 people. So we've collectively sold over $200 million online. We've helped tens of thousands of people build businesses. We both still own our own multi-million-dollar e-commerce businesses that do take up a decent amount of our time that we're building alongside doing stuff like this, training and helping people and growing the community and all that kind of stuff. So our time is very limited, as you can imagine. But for the first 20 to join Amazing Selling Machine today, we're going to do something super special. We're going to give you a one-on-one private coaching session with either Mike or myself. And so one of us is going to jump on a private one-on-one coaching session with you, which we don't offer this. We don't sell this kind of thing. If we did, it'd probably cost thousands of dollars if we were to actually offer it. But it's just not something that we do because we have so many other things we can be working on. But we are going to do it for the first 20 people today, and is that limited because we only have so much time. So we're going to do a private one-on-one coaching session just for the first 20 people who sign up today for Amazing Selling Machine. With this coaching session, you should get more certainty because we'll be able to tell you the answer to questions that may be burning in your mind that you're wondering what to do about. You should be able to get faster results because you'll be able to cut out a lot of the time of figuring stuff out on your own. And you should be able to save time, once again, not having to figure stuff out on your own. So literally just the first 20 today to sign up for Amazing Selling Machine, you're getting this bonus on top of everything else and the 2020 Success Agreement. So grab your spot now. All you do is open up a new tab in your browser. Don't close this video one because we're about to get into live Q&A, but open up a new tab in your browser. Go to asmnow.com/2020 before this webinar ends to get access to this. Remember, the first 20, as soon as those are gone, the coaching call bonuses are off the table. Fill out the secure registration form that URL is going to redirect you to. And then you'll receive a welcome email and your private login details, and then you're able to log into the Amazing Selling Machine membership and start building your new future. So do this right now while we're still talking, asmnow.com/2020. Now, a big question you might be wondering, what happens if I wait? Can I just do this kind of thing later? First off, you're going to remain financially dependent on somebody else. I'm an optimist. I tend to think things are going to work out perfectly fine in the world, but historically, there are companies that have been loaded up with debt and they ended up basically going out of business. They have to lay a whole bunch of people off, or at least downsizing. You're already seeing that in some businesses. Heck, I mean, the one right here in Austin, the company that does the South by Southwest, they just canceled their big event. And somebody was telling me yesterday, I didn't read the article, so I assume it's correct though, but I was reading the article that they had to lay off basically a third of their entire workforce because they never planned on not being able to do their main product. This is their only product, really. Their whole thing is related to doing an event. And so people weren't expecting that. And so I want you to have at least a backup plan, but hopefully it becomes your primary plan because it does so well and you have this business that's growing and building wealth for you. So first off, if you wait, you're going to remain financially dependent on somebody else, and you're going to live a life of, I should have done this, I should have started then, I should have started 6 months ago or a year ago or a month ago or whatever. Now is the best time to get started. Now you're going to be more motivated right now than you will be at any other time. So if you need that motivation to take the next step, grab your spot. You're covered by 2 guarantees. There's no reason not to give it a try now. You'll also miss out on time not spent with those that you love because of a 9-to-5 job. You may not be able to take your kids to school every day. You may not be able to pick them up every day. You may not be able to spend time with maybe a parent that's getting older or somebody else in your family or friends that you want to see more because you're tied down to a job just to make an income so you can survive. You also may miss out on adventures and opportunities in the world that you may want to participate in, but you're stuck with a 2-week per year vacation. And you may miss out on the one-time bonus that we have today and the 2020 Success Agreement. So everything you need to succeed, going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to get into our Q&A. First off, you get the online web class, the mentor program, the private community, the resource vault, and the software tool suite. You get free updates on Amazing Selling Machine. You're covered by the 30-day guarantee and the 2020 Success Agreement, and you get the one-on-one coaching webinar-only offer that's only available for the first 20 people today. Total value of all this, over $23,000. So right now, while we're getting into Q&A, if you haven't already, go over to asmnow.com/2020, grab your spot in Amazing Selling Machine. Do not miss out on this. We absolutely want to see you inside of ASM. We've given you all the reasons why now is a great time to get started on Amazon, and we truly believe that. This is a great time to build an e-commerce business in general, especially one selling on Amazon as your foundation, as your starting point, and then grow your brand as big as you want beyond that. So yeah, we're going to get into some Q&A right now. I see Mike that's pulling questions over there, but we'll go ahead and get Q&A. So if you have any questions, definitely use the text widget or the text number that's right below the video. So if you're watching on YouTube, in the description If you click the link in the description, that's going to take you over to the page where most of the people are watching. And there's a text number in the description or right below the video, and use that to start asking us your questions, and we're going to get to as many of them as we can.
All right, thanks, Matt. Thanks for going through all that so quickly and so well. It's an amazing opportunity. I would not be where I am today if it hadn't been presented to me at some point in time. So I'm excited to answer these questions. We can get a lot of great questions in here. We're using a new service text line, so hopefully this might be a little bit awkward at first because I'm trying to pull these and get them over to Matt, but I've filtered through some of them. First off is from Ali. He asked a question, do we recommend products that sell for less than $15? If you notice during the training here, we only talked about products that go over $100. That can be too expensive. One thing that Matt and I both recommend though is that you don't sell products less than $15. Because what you'll find is that even if you can make a good profit percentage, let's say that it's a 30% profit margin on a $15 product, that's going to leave you still like dollar-wise, it's going to leave you about $4.50, in profit for that product. And so you're really not going to make nearly as much of a dollar-wise profit as you want to. When you start selling products that are up near like $30, $40, $50, even $100, even making just a 20, 25% profit means a lot more dollar-wise. So we've done the math. We've looked at these ranges. Avoid products that are too expensive and also too cheap. And you'll find that sweet spot that we've been selling, and talking about for years, because that's really what we want you to do. Not only make a good profit percentage, we want you to make a good profit dollar-wise, because that way you can drive volume and really grow your brand and create a life-changing business. Matt, here's one I got from you also, from Alexis. She's asking, if we do order products from Alibaba suppliers, where do we store the inventory?
Yeah, so we absolutely recommend you use Amazon for their fulfillment network, which is called Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA. They basically have warehouses that are all over the world. And so if you're ordering from Alibaba, you'll use a freight forwarder, which that was one of the things I mentioned that's in our private resource vault. We literally give you our exact freight forwarder contact. They'll take care of getting that inventory all the way from China or wherever your manufacturer is, all the way into Amazon's warehouses. Then when it's stored with Amazon, the fees are very reasonable, and that's all included in the profit calculator that Mike showed you. That's already net of all those fees. And then they'll store that inventory, they'll ship out inventory, they'll handle returns and customer service and everything else. So that's the long answer, but the short answer is you definitely want to store it with Amazon using FBA, because when you're using FBA, you also are able to tap into the Prime program, where I think now, I can't remember the most recent, over 100 million members, I think, are in Prime. And so that allows you to get free 2-day shipping. And now Amazon recently invested $800 million to give Prime members 1-day shipping. And so you're going to be one of the people selling on Amazon that doesn't cost you any more money, but people ordering from you are going to be able to get 1-day shipping for free, which is crazy, which is why Amazon keeps growing like it is, because it makes those big investments for the future.
All right, Alexis had another question. She was asking, won't it cost a lot to get started ordering from Alibaba because of the minimum order quantities? Alibaba has so many different suppliers out there making practically the same product that you should be able to find a minimum order quantity that works for you. There are some out there that are going to require you to order 1,000 or 5,000 minimum order quantity. I simply ignore those, and I just keep scrolling down the page and looking for products or looking for suppliers that are going to require a little less. As we saw earlier, we saw one that was a minimum of 10. Not that you want to start off with a business with a entire inventory of 10 products, but that tells you that there are absolutely customers or sellers out there and suppliers out there that they're willing to let you get started for as little as possible. The trade-off is always going to be that the less you order, then the more they're going to charge you per unit to get going, and then the more you order, the bigger discount you get. But for starting off, a lot of times the number one issue is going to be cash flow. So we recommend starting off with only about 100 to 300 products. That usually gives you enough to get going. And then as you increase your business and your sales and your profits, then you're able to buy more in higher quantities. And the nice thing about doing that is that imagine you have a 25% profit margin starting off. As your business grows and you can order more, you automatically increase that profit margin because you're getting a decrease in your costs by ordering more from your supplier. That's one of the many ways to grow this business without even adding a product to it. So you can absolutely find the minimum order quantity that works for you. If you can't, I would simply go on to another product. There are thousands of products that meet our criteria for selling on Amazon, so you should be able to find one that meets your budget and also your minimum order quantity as well. Let's see. Here's one kind of topical for today. With everything that's going on with the virus, are there any niches that we should currently avoid?
I guess we can kind of both give our take on there. I mean, it was kind of interesting. I didn't realize Amazon had added some of those to their restricted categories. Like, I had never seen that before. So, some of the things like the mask and hand sanitizer and cleansing wipes and that kind of thing, I assume that's not always on there. And so I believe Amazon kind of, because they've probably seen a lot of weird things happening in that space where people coming in there with who knows what kind of products and jacking up the prices, that may not be an option right now and may not be the best product to begin with. But I would probably avoid those kind of things because it's not really going to be an option. So any of the stuff that's kind of built for people during coronavirus is probably a no-no. And it's probably, as soon as this stuff settles down, however long that takes, then a lot of those things are probably going to, be a ton of extra supply because a lot of people rushed in there, but then the demand is just going to fall off a cliff. So it wouldn't be a great thing to be into anyways. Other than that, I don't know if there's anything that I'm thinking like, oh, because of all this, it's going to be like a terrible opportunity. But I don't know, maybe you have something else?
I'm going to take the opposite end of it. Instead of thinking about what you'd avoid, what products would I look to source if I was starting out right now? So think about what people will be doing. They're going to be spending a lot more time at home. It's kind of happening. My kids are going to go online school now for the rest of the semester, so we'll be cooking a lot more at home. So maybe kitchen and cooking products are going to, start going up. People will want to start cooking better meals, healthier meals, maybe more of them at home. I would look to that kind of category. Look at other things too you might be going at home. It might be a good time for board games and toys. I'm not telling you those are the ones, but I'm thinking about all the ways that this might affect us for a short period amount of time, and maybe a little bit the way that we, behave later on. Think about how this is going to open up other opportunities as well. That's how I would look at some of these, some of what's going on in the world right now. Okay, Matt, this is a perfect one for you. You talked about, a single product versus many. Would you build a brand around a single product, or do you have to get multiple products to really build a brand?
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend building it around a market rather than a single product. For example, for the digital meat thermometer, you wouldn't want your brand to be something like Best Digital Meat Thermometers or Texas Digital Meat Thermometers or whatever you would come up with. You'd want it to be something that could be applied to multiple products in that same niche. That's going to help you because, the fastest way to grow your business, other than getting your first product to sell more, is to add more products to the brand. And so you want a brand name that can apply to multiple products in the same exact market because that's going to be the easiest way to grow because when you're starting from scratch, you've got no customers, you've got no list, you don't have any of that sort of stuff. And so you got to build it from scratch. And we've taught so many people how to do that. That's what Amazing Selling Machine is all about. When you're getting your second product, you've got an advantage that you didn't have at first because now you've got an existing brand, existing customers who've already bought your first product. So your second product, the fastest way to get going is just to tell your first customers that bought your first product to go buy your new product. And then hopefully they're happy with it and they give you reviews too. And you can do that for your third product and your fourth product and your fifth product, which is why there's a ton of advantages to staying within one brand as you're growing your business. So definitely make the brand focused around the actual market, not a specific product, but then also stay within one brand. Don't try to jump into a bunch of other different markets because you're just going to be making your work way harder than it needs to be.
All right, great answer. I have nothing to add to that one. So Winnie had a question more specific to once you're selling. She asked, how do you know which of Amazon's warehouses, they call these fulfillment centers, where your product go to so that you can tell the supplier where to ship it to? The answer is you don't know, and it doesn't really matter. So when you're ordering products and you're a new seller on Amazon, typically they're going to have you send your first shipment to up to 3 different warehouses, usually geographically displaced because they want to have the fastest delivery times as possible. It used to be getting 2 to 3 day prime was great. Now they're down to targets of 1 day prime delivery. So they want to make sure that your products are spread out across whatever marketplace you're in. But you don't have to worry about that using the way that we teach you. We didn't talk about this today, but we'll share another piece of advice here. When you order your product and you want it shipped to Amazon when it's finally all ready to go, how do you coordinate that? The easiest way is to hire something called a freight forwarder. We have a list of our own approved freight forwarders that Matt and I personally use, as a matter of fact. We put them into the private vault. So when you're ready to order your product and have it shipped to Amazon, you hire the freight forwarder to do everything for you. So if Amazon does want you to send it to 3 warehouses, they take care of that. The freight forwarder is going to coordinate getting that product shipped from whatever country it's coming from. They're going to get it unloaded at whatever port it's at, and then they're going to separate it out and send it to the 1, 2, or 3 warehouses that Amazon wants, so you never have to touch the product, never have to worry about it. That's just one of the very simple tips and kind of like advanced strategies as well, because it's without knowing about how using freight forwarders, you might not be going in this business because it'd be too overwhelming. That's one of the ways we teach our students to make this business as easy as possible. We want everything in the beginning to be as easy as possible. Later on, if you want to have your manufacturer ship products straight in themselves, you can do that. We're going to give you every single tip, every strategy we know to get going as safely as possible, as fast as possible, so you can start growing your business as quickly as possible as well. Let's see. So I'm going to make you do some math here, Matt. Antonio's asking if you sell $1 million in products. Is it 100,000?
Yeah.
Okay, good thing I'm not answering this question. If you sell $100,000 in products, how much do you take home?
Yes, I mean, I guess it depends it doesn't really matter what time frame you're talking about, but let's say hypothetically you're talking about a month. So say in a month you're selling, $100,000 a month. Typical profit margin that we see, and so don't want to go into too much sort of like basic like business kind of accounting stuff here, but basically whenever you're producing revenue, there's your gross profit, which is how much revenue you produce less their direct costs. So your product cost, your packaging cost, your shipping cost, all that kind of stuff. And then after your gross profit, there are your operating expenses, which are things like employees and office space and stuff like that. The beauty about this business is that your operating expenses are next to nothing. Your main cost is your inventory, a little bit of advertising on Amazon, the cheap, $39 a month fee for selling on Amazon. And so what we typically see is that a 25% profit margin is very reasonable inside of this business. So if you're doing $100,000 a month in sales, you could realistically be doing $25,000 a month in profit. Now, depending on what country you're located in and everything else, there's taxes and there's also tax advantages of owning a business. And so it's a little bit of a complicated question on the taxes, but $25,000 a month in profit is pretty good. And some chunk of that will be taken out for taxes if you want to calculate how much you'd actually put in your pocket. What we would typically recommend is that if you're doing whatever profit amount, that you reserve some of that in your business. Some of it you're inevitably going to want to use to fund your own lifestyle, which is totally cool. It's a big reason for doing the business. Keep some in your business so you can keep growing it further and produce even more profit later. But those are about the numbers that we typically see.
Before we get to some more questions, we got still some more out there. We're about halfway through those bonuses that Matt and I are offering. The hour-long free consultation. Ask us anything you want for your business. Already half those have gone. I want to welcome Chelsea, Jan, Pamela, Douglas, Balba, Ricardo, Rebecca, a few others as well. Welcome to Amazing Selling Machine. We are thrilled to have you a part of our family and our community. Matt and I are excited to be able to talk with you and help you with the business. Like Matt mentioned earlier, we're extremely busy between the businesses we run personally, training and teaching people in Amazing, our families, traveling around speaking. We don't have a lot of time, and we don't normally do coaching. It's not because we don't like to do it. It's because of time. We actually enjoy getting a chance to talk to people who are just changing their lives and making the step. So we're absolutely excited to be talking with you. We'll split you up evenly, half and half, and we're excited to see you on this journey. I personally think back to what it was like. I know exactly what it was like to be watching one of these live training seminars, signing up, feeling nervous, like you're taking a huge risk. That's why back then we did not have the 2020 success promise or agreement. There was nothing like that when I joined. I was very nervous. You guys are fortunate to have that right now. Pretty much puts all the risk on us to make sure you're successful. Otherwise, in 9 months, we know that you're going to simply, ask to get out of the business, and that's going to be on us. But there's a lot less risk than ever existed when I started this. So I know you're feeling, I know the nerves you have, and I'm excited to be able to talk to you probably here in next 30, 60 days when we schedule that time there. So welcome. Again, if you're interested in that bonus, it is asmnow.com/2020. So be sure to sign up. Again, half of those have already gone. And probably the other half are going to go very, very quickly now that I mentioned that.
Yeah, so I think we just put the URL back up on the slide, but you'll notice at the very bottom, it's asmnow.com/2020. You should be able to do perfectly fine on a mobile device or your computer, and you get access to everything on the screen, which is all four components plus a bonus of Amazing Selling Machine. So the online web class, mentor program, private community, resource vault, software tool suite, free updates every time we update the Amazing Selling Machine training. You get the 30-day guarantee, the 2020 success agreement that we've never offered before, and the webinar-only offer, which Mike just mentioned, which is the one-on-one coaching sessions, which should sell out during this webinar. We're going to be watching that number, so if you want to grab your spot, now is going to be your time because they're probably going to be all gone before here too long. So if you want to grab one of those, I would highly recommend going and jumping in and grabbing your spot now. We'll get into some more questions.
Yeah, so from, I hope I pronounced it right, Ihu, the question is this a good business for the UK as well as the United States? I'll take this one. The answer is absolutely yes. This works in pretty much any market that Amazon sells in right now. And we know that the European market is a huge market. The Amazon US market is by far the largest market, but when you look at the European Union and the different markets combined over there, they're actually slightly outselling the United States in total. So if you do live in, let's say, Germany, that's definitely a great market to sell in because they're up and growing and scaling fast, and the competition is really very low over there right now. If you live in the UK, you can start selling there as well. If you live in any of the other European countries, you have the option, like we gave you the rules earlier, but you can definitely start selling if you want to. But the UK is a great opportunity. Now, later on, when maybe the Australian market starts, maturing a little bit, the Japanese market already is growing. So we don't talk about this because we don't have a chance to get through all the training. If you live in Japan, that's a great market to get going. You're in a unique situation where we don't recommend people start if you're living over here in Europe and Japan, but if you're in Japan, that's a great marketplace to start in. So really, all the Amazon marketplaces are good marketplaces, but we're going to give you an exact formula how to walk through the logic of based on where you live, where you should start selling it. That doesn't mean by any means later on down the road, once you know this business, you can expand to other marketplaces. We recommend that. That's a part of our expansion. Matt only got through the brand expansion. There's a whole nother area you can grow inside of Amazon under other marketplaces. Then there's a whole nother area of different platforms you can sell into. This is really just the stepping stone for building your own brand and a business. Amazon's the easiest, but by no means is it where you stop unless you want to. There's a world of opportunities outside of Amazon. We just want to give you the best chances for starting off. And absolutely, to answer the question you originally asked, the UK is a great place to start selling as well. So, Matt, here's a question from Raphael. I'm giving you all the difficult ones, by the way. Do we agree with an opinion that we should not import products from China since the coronavirus paralyzes production, slows down any transport? It wouldn't be a problem if we were able to source products from some other place.
Yes, I mean, everything that we're seeing is manufacturers are back online, if not already back online, if not getting back online like now. For example, my wife, she sources a product from China, and that's also getting back online. I think the manufacturer just shipped out the inventory. I know your business is in the same situation, so it's been delayed a little bit, but they are shipping out inventory. I mean, that's how their whole country is based on this sort of operation. So if they're going to do anything, they're going to get that stuff back online as fast as possible. And if you've read any of the news, the number of cases over there has dramatically slowed down, and they've done a lot to kind of lock a lot of that down. I would not be too concerned about that, but that is why we're also offering the extra guarantee, because you may not know as much about this business as we do. So it's not something that I would be personally super concerned about, but it's also why we gave you another option of sourcing products made in the US. To me, it wouldn't affect where I source the products from, knowing everything I know, having been involved in this business in so long, but that's my opinion.
All right, great answer. I agree completely. And like Matt said, I've been talking with my suppliers, Jeffrey, Bonnie, Tina, if you're out there right now, that's some of our suppliers we work with. They're actually sending lots of communication that's making sure we're okay over here. Because just like I was worried about, I consider them my family suppliers in China, when the breakout took place over there, they're now worried about us. You kind of become a family when you get to know people as part of your business. I've gotten to know my freight forwarders like they're part of my family, gotten to know my suppliers over in China, my supplier in the United States. It's the way this business is. And I know from my relationship with them, there's no way that China is not going to stick around as a manufacturing powerhouse. Will there be other opportunities for us to grow maybe here, maybe in North America and Mexico manufacturing? Absolutely. Maybe this will jumpstart that. But in the meantime, for the next several years, China is still going to be a powerhouse. And because of that, we can benefit. If anything, they may be reducing prices to get more customers right now. And so that might be a really good reason for us to jump in, or anyone to jump in right now.
Yeah. You want me to take the one from Heather and then maybe you take the next one?
Absolutely.
She says about winning products, could we try drop shipping until we find a winning product? If not, why not? If so, any tips? And so the problem with drop shipping is that you don't own the brand. So a lot of times when you're drop shipping, you're selling somebody else's brand, and that's a totally different kind of business model. It's how I actually started way back in the day in e-commerce. Way less profitable, way less valuable of a business that you're building, which is why we only recommend people today build their own brand, which is why also in Amazing Selling Machine, we're so detailed when it comes to product selection, because we want to make the risk as low as possible for you. So we recommend you sell your own brand even from the beginning, even if you have zero experience, because your odds of picking the wrong product, as long as you follow our training, are very low. And so what you're saying rationally makes sense. The problem is there's a fundamental flaw in dropshipping is you don't own the own brand, and that hurts everything else that you do in this business. And so we recommend you own your own brand, but you do all the work up front to make sure you're picking the right product from the start.
Absolutely. Okay, so for me, the question is, what is the cost of the freight forwarding service? So the freight forwarding service can vary. Now, keep in mind that they don't actually charge you for the freight forwarding service. They just take a percentage off the top of whatever your normal shipping fee. So The freight forwarders coordinate all the different shipping companies in the world. There are companies that travel, control travel on railroads. There are companies that control travel via trucks. There are companies that control travel via barges and very big freight containers. The freight forwarder just coordinates all that, and what they do is they just give you one bill at the end that includes everything. So you just get one freight forwarding bill, so it's not like you have to pay them $100, $500, $1,000. It's all a part of your entire shipping process. So as a matter of fact, you saw us earlier when I went through the Amazon revenue calculator tool and I put in the dollar shipping costs, that took into account the freight you'd have to pay to get the product transferred to Amazon, any duties or taxes. If you're importing the United States, there are some duties and taxes. It took that into account. And it took into account whatever the freight forwarder charge you, because it's all blended into that anyway. So with those, we still aim to have a minimum 25% profit margin. Just know that you will get one bill from the freight forwarder. So it's not like it's all broken out and everything, but it's pretty reasonable. And people wouldn't be in this business if the freight forwarding as a part of your overall costs weren't very reasonable. In general, Amazon's going to take their percentage. They're going to take another small percentage for fulfilling your products. And then other than the inventory, the freight is probably the other fourth largest one. And still, at the end of the day, we know that if you follow our guidelines, you'll get at least a 25%. That's the goal, 25% profit margin on these. Matt, so a question for you and I specifically. So during our coaching call, will we also give advice on which products to be chosen if I provide you a list of the ones that I'm interested in?
I think that's a perfect way to use that time. I've done this for a few people, and I've watched what happened later. And somebody else has done it for me too in a totally different business context. But a lot of times it's like you get so buried in the weeds about finding the perfect product, is that sometimes it can help to have somebody else like say, okay, here's the list of the top ones that I'm thinking. Which one would you choose if it was your business? That's a great way to use that coaching session. So I would highly recommend it, is that you go through all the steps and that kind of thing. And then, totally, we can give you feedback on which product we would recommend. I think that's a great use of the time.
All right, so from Chisato, if I live in the US but I'm fluent in Japanese, would you recommend that I start over there? That's a scenario that I'm not familiar with, but I can. My gut tells me you're in a much better situation because you probably know people, I would assume, over there as well. One of the main reasons that we talk about not selling over there right now, unless you live there, is because there will be some logistical things you have to figure out. So for example, if you want to get samples, you'll need to have them shipped to you first over here in the States and then have them shipped back over to Japan, where if you live there, just be kind of like be one country, get them sent to. You don't have to worry about sending things multiple places. Storing products in a warehouse, maybe a freight forwarding company's warehouse before it goes to Amazon. If you lived over there, you might know someone who did that. If you don't, you have to coordinate that this way. Not saying you can't do it. My gut tells me that in your situation, you probably could start doing that. What I would recommend is that once you get inside Amazing Selling Machine, post in the community, and let's get some feedback from mentors and from other community members. We have 30,000 people that have went through our training. Chances are that someone has went through a very similar situation, and they can give you their advice on what they would do. So in the community, that's one thing we don't really talk about very much. Matt talked about the nearly 20 mentors that we have, all selling on average over $1.8 million. The community itself, people that are sellers, they provide as many answers to questions and great answers as the mentors do, even before we get a chance to get in there and answer questions. We have so many people that love helping others in the community. It can be addictive to go out there and actually cheer people on, see what kind of questions they have, share your experience with them. It's an amazing community. I have never in my entire life experienced any type of community like there is with the ASM community, because people, even though in theory and a little bit we're competing with each other, not really. There are so many thousands of products out there, and people realize that they want to lift everyone up and go out there and help people be more successful. And so you will experience that. You'll get to take advantage of that. It is one of the most valuable parts of being an ASM member, being a member of this community. There are thousands and thousands of interactions. That's questions and answers going back and forth every month. So if you ever have a question, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can go in there and ask a question. And so, Chisato, that's a perfect one that I would ask if I were in there. Chances are we have some other people that are either fluent in Japanese, are from Japan, or maybe expatriates from Japan who can help answer that question as well. And probably our mentors as well. They have all kinds of experience from all over the world.
Yeah, so I'm looking over here on YouTube because we've got a lot of people watching over there. And so I'm seeing a lot of chats coming in over here. So I'm going to try to answer some of these questions. Just so you know, we only have 9 spots left for the one-on-one coaching. So if you want to get the one-on-one coaching, you must be one of the next 9 to grab your spot, because that's literally a hard limit. Because after that, we kind of really have to watch our time so we can make sure that we can serve the bigger community and all that sort of stuff that we have to do. So if you want one of those spots, you have to be one of the next 9 to sign up. So over here on YouTube, Dina says, I don't live in one of the countries that I mentioned. I guess you live somewhere else in Europe. Should I sell in the US? The answer is yes. Would definitely recommend selling in the US. If you're from pretty much anywhere in the world except for maybe the UK, Germany, or Japan, if you're in one of those places, you can sell on your local marketplace. But if you're anywhere else, would highly recommend selling in the US. So good question. This person, YouTube name is Kid Gauss, says, for fast reviews, what can you do? Fastest way to get reviews on Amazon, as of like a couple months ago, there's literally a button whenever somebody buys your product on Amazon that you can go inside of there and click request a review, which is why we recommend selling a good, high-quality product that people are going to be happy with. Then getting positive reviews shouldn't really be a problem. So that's number one, lowest hanging fruit, is go inside of Amazon and click the request a review button when somebody buys from you. Second thing is package inserts, still very important. A lot of people that know what they're doing selling on Amazon are using package inserts to give people, say for example, allow them to get an extra insurance thing on their product, or an extra bonus, or a free ebook, or something like that. And it lets you get their information, knows that you bought from them on Amazon, and then after that, you can ask them for a review. There's some nuances around this thing about not incentivizing reviews to stay within Amazon's terms of service, and we cover all that in Amazing Selling Machine, but using package inserts is another great way to also get reviews.
Here's another question from Adam, who texted in this one. He actually has 2 questions kind of related. Are there any tax implications, especially being a sole proprietor, if you sell in the U.S.? And should you create a legal entity such as an LLC or S Corp before doing anything? So first, I'll address the tax one first. We are not tax advisors. You probably heard this on radio and TV commercials. We're not tax advisors. Can't give tax advice. However, with that said, one thing that's been happening a lot in the news is that the biggest issue that people have been concerned about, there's been a lot of things up in the air, is who's responsible for sales tax. What we've seen now over the past 6 to 8 months is that Amazon is finally coming on board, and they are taking on that responsibility. It hasn't come across all 50 states yet. I think it's in over 30, though, that they have said that, yes, we are responsible for sales tax. So that big nebulous question out there that we could never address and never answer because there was no single answer to it, it's finally being taken on by Amazon, and it looks like that it is kind of turning the wave is going that way, where they're taking on the majority, if not all, of the sales tax. Now, as far as income tax, well, owning your own business on Amazon is no different than owning any other business. Whether you start off as an LLC, an S Corp, or as a sole proprietor, you still, of course, have to pay income tax on any profits that you make. It is exactly the same. There's no difference. So when you say are there implications? Well, yeah, just like if you build a business, a coffee shop, or a bookstore, or anything else, you have to pay taxes on your income. No different here. Now, should you create a legal entity? You do not have to when you're starting off. That's one of the things even Amazon tells you. You do not have to go out there and create an LLC or an S Corp in order to get started. What we recommend is that you get going, and the most important thing, find your product. Go out there, follow the training, find your product, find your supplier, get the product ordered, and get it up and running. The reason we want you to do that is because something magical happens when you see your product online for sale and you get that first sale. You realize this is real. I had no idea what it would feel like until I made my first sale at the end of May in 2013. And once that happened, I realized that this was completely legitimate, real, and in a total crazy awesome business that I could scale and grow beyond my wildest dreams. Once you see that happen, I think and am confident that you'll feel that too. That's why I recommend don't worry about the business side of it, the entity side, until you make that first sale. With that said, we know some people that feel more comfortable go ahead and doing that, and it doesn't cost more than a couple $100 to start an LLC. If you want to do that, there's no reason not to. We're just saying don't let that hold you up. Nothing should hold you up from finding your first product, find your supplier, and getting it launched. Once you do that, and really there's that waiting period between you order the product and it's shipped to Amazon, use that time if you want to go out there and kind of figure out how you're going to structure things legally, maybe find a local tax accountant who can work through that with you. But again, you don't have to do those things right away. First, find your product, get your brand, get selling, and then you can focus on all the other things. There's no downside to doing that at all.
So we're going to keep answering the best questions we see for about the next 10 minutes or so, but wanted to go ahead and give you the list of the 20 hot products. And so we'll pull it up on the screen now. If you just go to asmnow.com/hot20, HOT20, asmnow.com/hot20, which you should be seeing on your screen now. That'll give you access to the PDF. Depending on your internet connection speed, we've got pretty fast internet over here, and it takes a few seconds to pull up because it's a big PDF document. So it may take a few seconds to pull up, but asmnow.com/hot20. That'll load the PDF. You can download it, save it to your computer, and those are all great product opportunities for you to look into and still run all the steps that you've learned in this video. We're going to keep this video live, by the way, on our YouTube channel, also on this page, so that you can come back here, watch the training, and hopefully get as much value out of it as possible. So asmnow.com/hot20 is the URL. And just to remind you, as soon as we get done with the webinar, the 20 spots are all gone if they're not already sold out right now. And then basically we're going to have the 2020 Success Agreement. We are going to make that available for a few more days because we want to, for people who register, because we had about 3,500 plus people register for this session. And like all of them, a lot of people can't make it live. I mean, it is a Friday afternoon, so people are working and taking care of kids and all that kind of stuff. And so we want to make sure they get a chance. So they're going to be able to get access to the Success Agreement as well. So you'll have a few days if you want to make a decision and get the Success Agreement. But after that, that's going to be gone as well. I don't remember the day. I think that's going to be gone like basically Monday or so. But we'll let you know via email. So we're going to get a couple more questions here. So definitely stay tuned. If you have a burning question, ask us, preferably via text. And also, if there's anything that we don't answer that you really want to know that's going to help you make a decision, if you want to join Amazing Selling Machine, if you want to build this business, use that text number and text it to us. We're going to leave that on the page for a little while longer. And so go ahead and text that number and our team will respond. We're going to be checking some of these ourselves. We've also have a whole team that's been with us for years and years and years that'll go in there, check those, and make sure you get an answer. So if you have any other questions about Amazing Selling Machine, about building the business, absolutely text into that number and we will take care of you one-on-one. But yeah, let's answer a handful of more questions and before we wrap it up.
All right, here's a great question from Greg. He asks, if I started today, this is the $1 million question, by the way. If I started today, ballpark, how long would it take to select a product, brand it, ship it, and have it ready to sell on Amazon? Awesome question. It's probably what most people are probably thinking in the back of their mind about, what's it really going to take to get this business up and running. So realistically, there's no one model fits all because some people like to move incredibly fast. Some people like to only work an hour or so a day in this, kind of take their time. But realistically, the way the course is laid out, you could have your first product selected anywhere in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We start off with product selection, then we go to suppliers, then we go to branding and making your order. So you could have your order probably around 3 weeks is a good realistic time frame to place your order after you've picked your product. Then the process kicks in where it needs to be manufactured. If you're having it manufactured overseas, count about 30 to 35 days for manufacturing. And the reason for that is you'll need a few days to work out how your logo and packaging is going to work. It's not like you just say, go make it. You need to tell them, I want this to be my logo, here's the packaging I want, and here's where I want you, here's any other details about the product you might want. So about 30, 35 days to get it manufactured. That's if it's overseas. If you're manufacturing or finding a product in the United States, usually it's less time. For one reason or another, the type of products that are made here in the States take less time, so you can probably have a product made here anywhere within 2 to 4 weeks. But let's kind of take that worst case. It's going to say it takes you 3 weeks to place your order, another 30, 35 days to have that product manufactured. Then you need to have it shipped. You could have it all shipped via ocean, and usually it's about 30 to 40 days to have your product shipped via ocean to get to the United States. So now we're up to about, let's say, 90 days where that product could be live on Amazon, which is a pretty realistic one. If you follow the steps, find your product, find your supplier, keep moving, in about 90 days you could have that product up and selling on Amazon. That's why we actually tell people target 4 months, 120 days, because we're going to give you more time. We know realistically you might want to take a little bit of time to go back and look at things, but you could have it up in 90 days. There's also some things you could do to speed that up, Greg. If you wanted to have, let's say you're ordering 300 units and they're coming by ocean, you could ask your supplier to airship 20 to 50 of those units to you. That way you get them weeks ahead of time and you could start selling even earlier than that. Now, it's something you don't have to do. Just one of the tips we offer to people who want to get going even quicker. But realistically, 90 to 120 days is what you really should be able to get this product up and selling on Amazon. With the 2020 Success promise we're giving you up to 6 months to make that happen, because we realize that right now things in China might be still a bit in flux. Our suppliers are coming back online right now, but you still have a couple weeks for you to pick that product, but they may be a little bit backed up with working with existing suppliers, so it might take you a little bit longer. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like right now. That's why we're going to give you the full 6 months to get that product up and selling, which we've never had an agreement or promise like this in place before. Then we're giving you an additional 3 months after that to go ahead and have that product marketed and sold on Amazon before you even have to make a decision whether or not this business is for you. So hopefully that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, so we got a couple questions over here. They just came in on YouTube that are very similar to each other. So Dina's saying, I can't open an account in my country. How can I open an account if Amazon doesn't accept it? And then Nika saying, a lot of people say on Amazon they get rejected for, I guess, trying to create an account. Like, what can you do about it? So, this is kind of a tricky area of Amazon that we have a ton of expertise in. There's not a short answer to this. It really depends on your situation, but all we can say from helping people from over 138 countries get set up to sell on Amazon is, I guess you can go wing it on yourself if you're on your own, but what we recommend when people join Amazing Selling Machine is don't go start submitting stuff to Amazon until we've had a chance to walk you through all the right steps, because a lot of times that can make your life actually harder. If you start submitting different account stuff and they don't approve that, then you're trying to use VPNs and stuff to create new accounts and not try to make it tied to the other thing. It just makes your life really complicated versus doing it right in the first place. And so there's a lot of weird reasons why this stuff happens, and some of it we don't even know, but what we do know is how to get people set up to sell. And so inside of Amazing Selling Machine, that's one of the first things we do, which is a big reason why we cover people for 30 days. Because if you're afraid you're not going to be able to get your account set up, then this whole business doesn't really make sense. But we prove to you that we can help you get your account set up, and we work with you very much one-on-one. One of the guys that's worked with us forever, his name is Rich Henderson. He's actually worked with the other co-founder of Amazing for even longer. I mean, heck, I don't know, 15 years by this point. He's worked with us ever since the beginning. That's how I met him, was through the other co-founder of Amazing. And he's an expert in this area, works with a ton of people one-on-one, helps them get set up to sell on Amazon. He's seen it all, trust me. Yeah, we will absolutely help you get set up to sell on Amazon. Other than that, I don't really know. You can maybe go try to figure some of the stuff out on your own. But if nothing else, that'd be a reason to join Amazing Selling Machine. If you're still not happy, you can always ask for a refund. And I hate to say this, but you could almost get free advice on how to set up to sell on Amazon, then get your refund and not have to pay anything. But we hope you don't do that, because we see a lot of value in there. But that is an option, I guess.
We've had several people who've had issues getting signed up, and it sometimes takes them a few months because Amazon's very fickle. They do a lot of their big concern, especially in the European marketplace, is with money laundering. And so that's why you're trying to get set up over in Europe, that it can sometimes be more difficult because they know that that's typically been a hotbed of that happening over there. So they're much more strict over there. But we've come to know exactly what they do look for, what they don't want you to do. There are pitfalls that you may think you're doing the right thing. You're sending them the information you think they want, when it's exactly the opposite of what they want, and they won't tell you that. But you'll keep getting round and round answers from them. They're not telling you what they do want, not getting set up. But once we've had people work with us and we go through the process, it still may take a little longer. But once people get set up, we know those people who do that are going to be some of our most successful. We've seen people that have taken 2 months to get set up just their account, but then they go on to crush it, because that's the kind of person who's not going to let something stop you from building a business. So absolutely, we have the expertise. We will tell you that we will get you set up. If not, we're going to give your money back, because we don't want to charge you for something that you can't even possibly do. A question from Heidi here. Excuse me. Thanks so much for the incredible webinar. Heidi, thank you for that compliment. We appreciate that. I had a quick question about packaging. What if I wanted to brand our packaging so that the packaging itself is specific to the brand that I'm building? Is that possible to do that? Because I really want to enhance the shopping and buying experience. What do you think about that, Matt, coming up with special packaging just for your product?
What was the question? Sorry, I was checking.
Yeah, no, it's like I think so. I think what you're talking about, Heidi, it's a little confusing here, but is if you're a green company, maybe you want to package with products like using packaging that's green and biodegradable. Is that a good idea? I think the answer is absolutely. We're seeing more and more people go out there doing that. There's special cardboard paper that is biodegradable that a lot of products you'll see on Amazon are being switched over to that. Not necessarily because Amazon wants to, because the sellers, just like you, want to tie that in with your brand. Also, if you have certain types of charities that you give, donate part of your portions to, if you want to tie that into your packaging and talk about that, absolutely. So you can do it pretty much, you can do whatever you want to with your packaging, Heidi. So if you have an idea, you can make that happen. What I would recommend though, and without knowing what your brand is or what it's going to be, is start off simply. You don't have to go all in and make it as complicated as possible. For us, the most important thing is to get your product selling as quickly as possible, because that way you're generating cash, and more cash means more profit. More profit means more the inventory you can buy, and then you can expand your packaging into something much more flamboyant and exactly what you want. Usually we see people start off pretty simple, pretty basic, and then once they have more profit coming in, then they take a portion of that to improving their packaging to really tie into their brand experience. So you can do it if you have the desire to do it from the start. Absolutely you can, but don't feel like you have to either. You can always wait and do that 6 months down the road. Once you've sold out of your first 1 or 2 batches of inventory, you can definitely improve the packaging as well.
Yeah, and some products like the one that I've just pulled up here on my screen, I mean, their big differentiator is their packaging. I mean, this is literally just hand soap, but just the one that came to mind is always an example that I've thought about for the past 10 years or so, is they built this massively successful company selling essentially hand soap, which is the same as everyone's hand soap, and it's literally just soap in there. But their main thing that they did different was, rather than having it in some ugly plastic jar, they had a really cool, nicely designed plastic jar with cool typography and stuff, so that people actually didn't feel ashamed having this thing sitting on their bathroom counter without having to buy a separate little container that was separate from the soap, and then you put the soap in there. These things are able and they look good enough where they can just sit on the counter. And so when you talk about doing custom packaging like that, they can totally be a great differentiator. Is it the first thing I would do if you're just getting started out? Probably not, because it's probably going to be a layer of complication you don't want to deal with at first, but definitely a good thing to do long term.
All right, we got a question about Canada. This is from Muriel. I live in Canada, but I want to sell in the United States. How would I label my stock there coming from China? Great question. Simplest answer is I would use a freight forwarder to do that for you. So you would order your products from your supplier in China, and then that product would be shipped to the United States. You never have to have it sent to Canada. Or if you live in South America or somewhere in Eastern Europe, you don't have to have the product sent there. Have them sent to the country you're selling in. Then your freight forwarder, when they arrive, would label the products for you. Usually the cost for labeling a product, we're talking about a label like a shipping label, a UPS or FedEx shipping label that goes on the outside of a carton of multiple units. Your freight forwarder can do that for you, usually for 20, 25 cents a label on it. That depends. But then they'll send it on to Amazon. For me, even though I live in the United States, I don't see any of my products. It doesn't matter if I live in the United States, in Canada, or down in Mexico. The same thing always happens. My products get sent in by my supplier. My freight forwarder I've been using for years, that's in the vault. They label them for shipment to Amazon, and then they send them straight into Amazon. The same thing holds true for you, Muriel, in Canada. You could do this. I would suggest that when you order your first product, you have one sample sent to you when it's finally done, so you can see and feel it, just to make sure that it meets your own thoughts, what it should be, like quality, the look and feel of it. But other than getting one unit for you to check it, have the rest of it sent to your freight forwarder and to Amazon, and then you don't have to worry about labeling at all.
Yeah, so let me think if there's any last question here. So we'll probably answer this just one last question, and then we're going to have to sign off. So how do you make sure you're picking a good quality product? So the best way to do it is to order samples. And so whenever you get ready to pick which product you're going to sell, one of the steps in there is to order product samples. It doesn't matter where you're sourcing the product from, US, China, anywhere, you should totally order product samples so you make sure you're selling a good product, and then test and feel them out. And a lot of times these samples, if you're looking at a product from China, we've got all these products sitting here behind us. These are all potential product opportunities that we've demonstrated in the past. And so a sample for any one of these kind of products may be $40 or $50, which is definitely an inflated cost, but the suppliers, that's just how it works. And so maybe you order a handful of these, cost you $100, and then you test those things out at your house, use them, play with them, have a friend check them out, see what they think. And that's how you know you're selling a good, high quality product. It's really the main way to make sure you're selling a good product, because the last thing you want to do is be selling a product that's not high quality, because it makes everything more complicated. But yeah, product samples is the way to do it. So one last thing I want to cover before we sign off is, remember, today you can get access to everything, including online web class, mentor program, private community, resource vault, software tool suite, free updates, 30-day guarantee, 2020 success agreement, value of all this over 23 grand. Access all of it right now at asmnow.com/2020. And so, yeah, I mean, this has been an amazing webinar. We still have hundreds and hundreds of people still on here, lots of questions coming in, but we do have to go. Mike's going to have to catch a flight here before too long to go back to his family. So we're going to have to sign off here, but really appreciate you joining us. Looking at opportunities, opportunity to change your life, to build your business, as opposed to being consumed by fear, which is what a lot of the media is doing right now. It's how they make their money, so it is what it is. But yeah, totally be looking at opportunities, how you can go out there, change your life, build a business. Use this as a wake-up call, not an excuse to get afraid or to buckle down or to stop spending or any of that kind of stuff. Look at it as an opportunity to grow even more. I mean, historically, things tend to work out fine. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff like this. There's no guarantees. So think whatever you will about that. That's how I believe anyways. But yeah, hopefully we get to see you inside of Amazing Selling Machine. Hopefully, if nothing else, you got a ton of value out of this webinar. I really congratulate you on taking a couple hours out of your time on a Friday afternoon to join us, to learn about building a business, to better yourself, to create a better financial life. We're definitely similar people if you're willing to do that on a Friday afternoon, to sit here and learn about this kind of stuff. I've been in your shoes. I'm still out there learning as much as possible all day long. So thank you very much for joining us on this live training. We'll let Mike sign off, but yeah, it's been awesome having you. Hopefully we get to see you soon.
Awesome, and thanks so much for all the great questions. A lot of people out there are interested in this business. That excites us because we love seeing people change their lives. And like Matt said, even if you didn't get a chance to join ASM yet, hopefully at some point you will, and we'll see you inside of our community and maybe at one of our live events as well. So take care, have a fantastic weekend, and hopefully see you soon inside of ASM.
Yep, thank you.